how do I put it? It was like, what do you care about them? What do you care about those people? What difference does it make to you? Take care of your own life. Do the best you can for you and your family. What do the rest of the people mean to you? They don't mean anything to you. They're just serfs. They're just people. You know, what's the end goal? The end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society. They want a one-world government controlled by them. Everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip.
Welcome to Rise Above. It's Friday night, you know what that means. It's Double LMC and Andy PG. We're just going to say hello before we hand it over. Oh yeah, let's get another camera. Andy PG.
Good evening for Friday night, Rise Above.
How's everyone doing? Should we say hello also to live in the studio?
Bring the crew in.
Let's go over to Oma Beats. Some people say we're too bad, apparently. Welcome to all our new viewers. Welcome to all our new viewers that have come over from Mark Devlin's show, Mark Devlin's channel. I'd like to introduce you to myself. I'm Double LMC. This is Andy PG.
Evening all.
Oma Beats and Magics. This is the Rise Above family. Waiting in the wings, or a minute ago we had Word Nerd and Inner Guardians. Still battling this annoying echo with those guys, so we'll see if we can get over that tonight. I'd just like to say, everyone, gosh. Yeah, what do you know about that? Says. I've got a new toy in the studio. I've got a new toy. Let us know how we're sounding, because thank you everyone that's buying the t-shirts. We've invested some of your t-shirt money. In fact, I've invested all of it in this amazing piece of equipment here. It's called a Rodecaster Pro. I don't know if you can see it right here. Right, I've got this cool mixing desk. Oh god, it's cool. So we're up in the game every week. It's Rise Above. How you feeling, Andy?
I'm good. I'm
good.
Stoked about Mark Devlin's show last week.
It was awesome. Let's share the screen. Let's do a little slightly different view. I prefer this one. So, last week in the studio, we had Mark Devlin. This is not Mark Devlin. That's Andy Oma Beats. Here's Mark Devlin and myself chatting. Wicked shots done by Magics. Amazing work here from Andy Oma Beats on the Rise Above Crucible. And here's myself and the man, Mr. Mark Devlin. Massive respect to Mark Devlin to make it down to the studio.
Did we give him a t-shirt?
Yeah, we gave him a t-shirt. Yeah, we gave him a rabbit t-shirt, of course. So yeah, what's on the agenda this week?
Oh, we got transhumanism.
Transhumanism it is.
I actually find this quite scary, this topic. This is a shady topic.
It is shady. But before we get on to the week's topic, as we do in normal Friday night fashion, we get through our usual business, and then we round up the week's happenings, the week's events, what's going down in the Coviet Union.
And there's always plenty to talk about.
Usually too much. Let us know how we're sounding, guys. Can you notice the difference with the Queef Master Pro in the house?
2 meters, you cunt.
Yeah? What do you know about those jingles?
Really crisp. It's just in our headphones, man. Sounds much
It does. People's Freedom Alliance. I'm coming on to that. Right. Let's get down to business. Big up Jazz at People's Freedom Alliance. I don't know if anyone saw this post that I made on Thursday. That was yesterday. At 8 p.m, I was supposed to be doing an interview, a three-way interview, kindly invited by Jazz from People's Freedom Alliance, with legendary DJ Danny Ramplin. Guess what happened?
Blocked.
The Coviet Union said, no, peasant, you're not allowed to express your views, especially with someone prominent in the music scene who might be ready to speak out and ruffle a few feathers. No way. So hopefully, Jazz, I know you're watching, we can maybe get that one rescheduled for another time. I really want to chat to Danny Ramplin for sure.
So, just quickly, 90 people watching, guys, streaming over Facebook as well as the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Let's just do that bit. So, YouTube, Double LMC, and Rise Above Live. Also, we've got loads more subscribers now. We're almost on 1,000 subscribers for Rise Above Live.
Yeah, nice.
And big up everyone watching on Facebook. Obviously, the best place to watch it is on YouTube because you can get in the comment section with everyone. In fact, I think
have a chat to us.
Yeah, that's the whole
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
It's an interactive show, and tonight we're actually testing out one of the new features of the Queefmaster Pro right here in the studio. We can have Bluetooth phone-in guest. I've got the tablet over here set up to Skype. So a bit later on, we're going to be having call-ins. You can literally call us up. You can tell us. You can just join the chat. You can ask us questions. You can just call us up and call us stupid conspiracy theorists or tinfoil hat wearers if you like.
Absolutely.
But it's everything's on the table. This is the Rise Above table. We feast every week. And please come and join us. Just bring a knife and fork. Okay. So, yeah, Mark Devlin in the studio last week. Absolutely epic. Really enjoyed that. It's a nice little bit of artwork from...
yeah, this is awesome.
This is awesome, isn't it? It's not Rabbit Holes, Andy PG.
This is the whole rabbit.
The whole rabbit, the full fillet of
is this
rabbit.
Magic's work?
This is Magic's work,
Magic's
yeah.
For the,
Lovely.
The artwork.
I reckon that could be a T-shirt,
Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah. I love the green as well.
Yeah.
I've been saying about green. Saying about green for ages. We need a green T-shirt.
Yeah. Well, we'll come to T-shirts because big thank you to everyone that bought one of the first batch of the whole rabbit collection.
Yeah, damn, they went quick. Yo.
Yeah, there's only like 5 or 6 left. There's one more box coming, and after the next box, I won't ever do that. I will never do that rabbit design again. It will never ever be printed again. So make sure if you want it, please get hold of one. But there'll be more designs coming soon. Speaking
and
of,
as you can see, we're not pissing it up with your money. We're buying decent studio equipment.
yeah,
And
we
stuff like
bought
that.
we bought
Upgrading
the
every
Crucible.
Yeah, we've got the Crucible.
Yeah.
Rise of our team working on that. We upgrading the studio, but we still have got this issue with the echo.
Well, it must be StreamYard. So StreamYard have got to get the boot next. But luckily, we've now got another way. Well, basically, any way that you can call me on a mobile phone, I can now Bluetooth it directly into the Queefmaster Pro, and it's like we've got so much functionality here. You can even plug a mobile phone in through a TRX cable.
Nice.
Gosh. Yeah.
This is like, by the way, this is Lance's pre-programmed sounds. Yeah. This
Right.
isn't
So
just...
back to these are the official Rise Above. I'll save that for a minute. These are back to the rabbit. I have been drawing hard in the last 2 weeks. This is a close-up of one of the whole rabbit collection. Yeah. You like this? This is going on stickers. It's going to be going on a custom T-shirt first of all for a special customer, and then I'll be
rabbit.
Yeah. Good evening, Bradley Golden. Everyone tuned in from all over the crater. Let us know how we're sounding. Me and Andy PG got some new equipment right here. Queefmaster Pro.
Lord Schwab says.
I should have saved that for later, but I just couldn't help it. I couldn't resist it. So yeah, I've been drawing hard.
Yeah, I like this one.
See,
Transhumanist rabbit.
this is the techno trans lagermorph, as Master Lee called it. Basically, a transhumanist rabbit. I'm drawing this one. This is going to be going out in the near future onto a T-shirt or a hoodie.
Yeah,
Thank you very
I'm
much.
going to take one of those personally.
Yeah. So speaking of hoodies, we've got a fresh new box arrived today. Let me show you one sec.
Yeah, again,
Sorry,
guys,
not hoodie. Not hoodies are coming soon. T-shirts.
Again, guys, don't forget, once these are gone, once the design's gone, it won't be the same design again.
We've got Rise Above Live in a brand new colour, which is grey. The new box has grey, red, black, and khaki. Okay.
Yeah.
And
all the favourites.
also, I've got like 5 or 6 rabbit tees left. Black and white. Most of them in small. I think we've got one extra large in black. One more box of rabbit t-shirts coming next week,
And that's it, guys. After that,
and I'll introduce another colour. I'll do red rabbit t-shirts.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and then after that, no more of that one. So if you want one, it's £25 with plus postage and packing. The whole rabbit collection. All proceeds go directly back into the Rise Above project for your Friday night viewing.
And the regular Rise Above Live, £20 last.
Yeah, regular t-shirts are £20. Hand-drawn t-shirts by myself coming at £25, and hoodies are coming soon. Oh yeah, by the way, you also get a nice little sticker pack when you buy a t-shirt.
Yeah, I after the show last week, I went and put one on the bus stop. I checked earlier.
Yeah, you
when
get.
I was walking past, it's still there.
Still there.
Still there.
Yeah, I paid extra for the vinyl stickers so they won't like rot in the rain. We put these on a lamppost. Obviously, I don't recommend you put them on a lamppost. That would be vandalism.
Plus, we don't incite any
I never incite or conspire to do anything.
like that here on the show.
I'm
guys.
just simply an idiot on the internet. That was a Friday night show that a few people listening to, and it really pisses some people off.
106 people watching now,
106,
guys.
yeah, guys, please don't forget to share the stream. Tonight, later on, we're talking about transhumanism. We're just easing you in nicely, doing some Rise Above merch before we do the week's news. So yeah, this is the sticker that you get. The QR code takes you directly to riseabove.news, which is like the Aladdin's cave
It's all there.
of Aborigine literature, videos, interviews. Okay, let's have a little chat about what's going on this week. I can't be bothered to play the Coviet Uni video, but I just don't want to overdo it. I'll tell you what, though, I honestly think that Virus Man got taken out. I cannot get hold of this dude. And after you've done all of this, no emails. You know, I've tried to search him on Instagram. He just doesn't exist anymore. He's been wiped off the map. I think he got taken out. But when you build memes like this, you're building a mansion of memes. Look at these, absolutely spectacular. I'm not surprised he got taken out. So, day 500 of 15 days to flatten the curve. I remain perfectly still as a UN anal Schwab drone hovers overhead.
Wow.
Yes! Straight down to business. Let me see if we can get spoken word nerd in. And if he echoes, we'll just say
Who's
goodbye.
made this one?
Word nerd, what are you saying to this one?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Yeah. Have you ever found yourself hiding underneath a branch covered in mud, evading a UN anal Schwab drone that hovers overhead?
It's never too late. Never too late.
It's never too late to say never. It will happen soon. Hey, this is one of my favourite films, like the original Predator of Army. What a film.
Are you being serious about virus?
Mate, listen.
We can't get hold of him.
No, he's not replying to any of my emails. I mean, it's not as if we did something.
We know his Instagram got taken down. That was ages ago. But
since his Instagram got taken down, he was on he came back in the comment section once. After that, no. Alison Lee, I'll address this question quickly. I don't know who M Seeker of Truth is. Is that some new Q character? I'd say anyone that hides behind a fake name, don't listen to him.
There.
Oh, sorry, word nerd, Echo. We have to get rid of that. Sorry, we can't be doing that Echo. Especially not when we got the Queefmaster Pro in the house. There's no way that it's our end. We
have got our kind of backup option too. Is word nerd could call in.
Yeah, word nerd. If you want to call in on Skype, you can just become a cameraless voice. We don't need your camera. You can just call in. So let's have a Zuby quote of the week. We love a Zuby. Zuby says, weak, low status males love this Coviet thing because it allows them to LARP. That means live action roleplay, in case you didn't know. It allows them to LARP as heroes by simply wearing a mask, taking a shot and harassing other people. They can pretend to be strong, virtuous heroes whilst being frail, flabby, pathetic cowards. None of them even lift. Wow. I bet this hurt some feelings, didn't it, Andy PG?
Feisty words from Zuby. You know, he's not one to shy away from speaking the truth.
No.
Exactly how it is.
He's actually made a career out of it, in case you hadn't noticed.
Yeah, actually, I think he's gone further with his. He's got a further reach with his truth telling than he has with his music. Honestly,
mate. But I tell you what, he's a smart dude.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Wait a minute, it's not still echoing. Now we got echo from Word Nerd. Yeah, we're sorry about that.
For sure, his programming wasn't sufficient.
Yeah, no, it didn't work on Zuby. Yeah, what a legend. I saw he raised £100,000 for his Kickstarter and his latest album, where he's going to tell the truth in music. So go for it. Yeah, big up. Who's that latest comment from Canada? Much respect from Canada. Steve Jones, The Simple Truth. You're new to Rise Above. Hello, Steve evening. Jones, The Simple Truth. Big up everyone in Canada. We've got quite a few Canadian fans. Hang tight, Jim.
Big up to Chris Sky.
Big up to Chris Sky. Hang tight, everyone in.
It'd be great to have him back on the show.
Oh yeah, it would if he's still alive.
Yeah. No, he is. I saw him do the Atlantic Underground podcast. Really good one, actually. It was.
Oh yeah, big up everyone. Big up the guys from Atlantic Underground.
Big up Johnny and the guys from.
They've got a wicked podcast. Yeah, I have to go on there again and say hello. And
it'd be good. Yeah, it'd definitely be good to get Chris Sky back on here. He's been doing some serious truth telling over in Canada.
He didn't get the T-shirt. I messaged him the other day. He never arrived.
He's on the terrorist list and everything with the Canadian government. I'm
kind of jealous of him actually. I want to be on the terrorist list.
Seriously, causing some waves.
Yeah, he's doing it.
So he's doing convoys. Driving from Calgary to Quebec and stuff like that with 50 cars.
Convoy.
They're just stopping in small towns and stuff like that, and it's just immense what the guy's doing.
Yeah,
brilliant, really good.
Yeah,
work.
Big up Jazz. Please do. We'll have to get Chris back. He said he was up for coming back on. He liked the platform. Who doesn't like Rise Above? Let's be real. It's the best show on YouTube.
We've got great interaction.
We have got great interaction. We've got great fans. That's the best thing, is the people that watch. And I'll tell you what, if you watch and you enjoy the show and you don't get involved in the comment section, you're missing out. All you need is a smartphone or a tablet, because a lot of people watch on their TV and they see we put the comments on that. I bet they're thinking, oh, is that the membership? There's no membership for Rise Above.
No,
we will never charge. All we ask is you buy a goddamn T-shirt so we can build a new Crucible and buy a new Queefmaster Pro.
And even that's not, you don't have to.
No, we just really want you to, because it helps. Thank you very much. Right, next up, look at this.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
This is good. This is a handmade by someone.
Men in 1941 versus men in 2021. Wow. Facing almost certain death in 1941, facing a 99.9% recovery rate in 2021, and a little teardrop from the eye of the millennial.
Quite
How
pathetic.
unfortunate.
Can you check the old Skype there to make sure no one tries to call in?
Yeah, let's see.
We did have someone called the Esoteric Knight of Malta. Oh, there he is. He says, "How long is the show on for tonight? I'm Rob, by the way. Nice to meet you, brother." Rob, if you should be watching, Rob. The show goes on for as long as we want, usually till about midnight. Everyone says make it shorter, but then everyone goes, "No, make it longer." So we will. So yeah, men in 1941 facing almost certain death. Men in 2021 facing a 99.9 recovery rate. Right.
Wow.
So let's get on to what happened directly after the show last week. The very next morning, we had a Friday night show, as we do every week. Old Milsky Van Helsing says longer. Lee Gould says, yeah, 5 hours plus. 5 hours plus. You know it's always 5 hours plus. Big up Milsky. Yeah, I owe him a T-shirt as well because he's our new social media manager. Sheep of Knowledge says make it longer as well. So what happened last week? Well, the mainstream media says roughly only 20 people showed up.
20
anti-government demo. Yeah, this isn't real. Someone's made this.
Yeah.
But this is what really happened. Look at that. And we said, oh, there's loads of photos.
It's dense.
So people are saying over 1 million.
Yeah, I heard about 400,000 or 500,000.
I think conservatively it's 500,000. Some people are saying it's over 1 million. Oh yeah, look at what Chop the Dog says. 33 people attended. Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah, 33 people attended the anti-lockdown protest. That's right. God damn it. Why not 33? It should be. So, do you know who else went to this protest?
Mr. Devlin.
Yes. The Rise Above family went to the protest. Big up Martin, Edwards and Lisa. We've got people with Rise Above signs. Big up Joe. Oh, whoops. Big up Madonna. These are all the Rise Above family. Bournemouth crew. And also, there's quite a lot of nurses.
Yes.
Quite a lot of nurses in uniforms with big placards saying nurses are scared to speak out. Coercion is not the same as caring. They had hashtags. They had websites. I have a feeling this is why the mainstream media did not want to report on this happening.
Because you had all the nurses.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very high likelihood that they simply didn't want to report on this. How you getting on with the technical problems? Solving some technical problems in the corner. Can't mix any tunes tonight. We've got one of the cables bust. Damn. So look at this. Are we starting to see I keep saying this and then it doesn't really happen, so I don't want to say it, but are we seeing a turn of public opinion? Look at this. Uniforms unite. That's quite positive.
The thing is, the problem is, human beings as a whole, we forget far too quickly. And as soon as, all these restrictions, if we do get, on the 21st, the solstice, if we do get everything go back to, normal, in inverted commas, then, how long will it be before everything just gets forgotten, swept under the rug?
Yeah, probably
I'm
roughly
talking
2 or 3
about
months.
English people here,
Yeah. See, Dan, what you're talking about there, Shelley is actually my codee. I'm being taken to court about that protest as well. Yeah, if it goes to court, we'll see. But what did we cover last week? The Bristol protesters.
Yeah,
they were basically apologising to the protesters, saying that it was unlawful. So
and the fines.
Yeah, fines unturned. Oh, I haven't been fined yet. Okay, so let's check this out. I don't know who's seen this.
Lance, take the fine, mate. Take the fine. You got yourself some free toilet paper there, mate.
No, it comes with a conditional discharge. I have to plead guilty as well.
No, don't do that.
No. Right, check this out. This happened on Saturday. Right, so watch carefully. This character here, Antifa and Queefer, right? Watch carefully. Watch what he does. He literally just goes straight up to the policeman and pushes him. He's an agitator. Sorry, boy. But watch what happens next. Watch what happens next. An absolute hero comes in. Yeah, look, he's trying to do it. He's trying to do it. Look, there she is. I know this woman. Right. So she's literally just come up, stop it, right? This is not the only time this happens. Watch this. Here's another instance. It's the same guy.
You're fucking Antifa and you need to fuck off. What? You didn't get it, you fucking off. It's not a fucking knee. It's a kidney. It's okay for them. It's about freedom. Yeah, no. You're Antifa. And it's okay for them to beat people up. No, in the park. They beat people up in the park. You're antagonising. They beat people up in the park. You idiot. Fuck off. You idiot. This was peaceful until
Who wears masks at protests? Who wearing masks?
Exactly.
They're so easy to spot. Also, the other thing to look for is the umbrellas. Yeah, is the umbrellas. They always wear umbrellas, but I think that's the more professional. These are just soy boys who have come here on a bus and probably been given £100 to do it. The ones with umbrellas are generally kitted out actual government agencies.
Or they're like trained black bloc anarchists.
Yeah, sure. They're way more like upper tier than these fucking pussies coming in. Yeah, fair play to the chick for stopping that bullshit.
Yeah, and remember, I'll tell you what, we'll open it up now. If anyone wants to join the chat, you can actually call us on Skype on riseabovelive@gmail.com. Have you fixed the music? Magix has done it. Magix has done it.
Sound engineer.
We're 25 minutes in. I'll tell you what.
Lee Gold in the chat is saying Soros minions. Yes, quite
Soros
possibly,
minions.
my man. Quite
maybe
possibly.
I tell you what, maybe Soros minions, and they don't even know it. People have actually just been programmed by critical race theory, by cultural Marxism, by postmodernism.
Cancel culture.
I'll tell you what, these mics sound crisp. Can you guys know?
Really nice.
It sounds so good, doesn't it? I feel like Joe Rogan, but actually genuine Joe Rogan before he got infected. Does anyone notice the difference in the sound? Please let us know. You guys, T-shirt money, Queefmaster Pro is not cheap, but it sounds awesome. Let me just try something. Gosh. Yeah. Gosh. We're going to do some proper custom sounds. I'm going to go in the studio with Homer Beats this
Milsky
week.
Van Helsing says fire.
Fire, right, yeah. And the decks are sorted out now, so we can have a mix in a bit. So what else has been going on this week in the CU, down in the Coviet Union? Okay, I like this one.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. I don't judge mask wearers. If I was going along with a plan to destroy the economy and millions of lives, I'd hide my face too.
Yeah, I would.
So basically what he's saying there is if you're wearing a mask, you know, you're complicit. You're going along with this. And you're part of the problem, quite frankly.
Yeah. Perpetrating the the visual manifestation of a basic lie. That's what it's doing. It's a visual symptom of something that isn't there. Covietism. Wear your mask, comrade, for the Coviet pollution.
How dare you breathe oxygen?
How dare you?
How dare you?
What else? Oh, yeah, look at this.
Oh, yeah, I saw this. This is just gross.
Absolutely gross. Why are these three kids wearing masks?
Look at the guy behind Boris as well. Look at this absolute degeneraate in the city. Who is that? Look at his face.
Do you think that's just the coincidence?
Cheese, yeah, nothing's ever coincidence. You see the picture with, have you got any royals in this? I don't want to ruin any of your
No, I haven't, no.
So there was a picture kicking around the internet of, it was the Duchess and Duke in front of a sign that said Evergreen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no shit. It was like a building. I don't know if it's a pub or something. Yeah.
It's a funny old simulation, isn't it?
Yeah. Odd. Very odd.
Very odd. Right. Okay. Glorious Cure. So, apparently, this is from Pfizer.com. This is the link at the bottom. I haven't checked it out, but I don't need to because I know it's true anyway. Pfizer admits its own mRNA jab trial documentation that non-jabbed people can be environmentally exposed to the jab spike proteins by inhalation or skin contact. Check out page 67, 8.3.5.1, exposure during pregnancy. Wow.
Well, that's another one that the conspiracy theorists were calling.
Yeah. David Curtin, this UKIP guy who just he's a consistent truth teller at the moment. Someone's got to do it. It's dirty work in the anti-PG.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone
on the inside, even if he's a right-wing black white supremacist that works for UKIP. You know, he's obviously a proper bigot if he was a UKIPper. He says the report is extremely concerning. If there was any risk that Pfizer's experimental mRNA injection turns humans into a permanent pathogenic factories that affect vaccine-free people, it should be pulled immediately. Yes, round of applause.
Shouldn't have ever come out in the first place.
Yeah, that would have been even better. Yeah, round of applause.
But that was by design, obviously. It's all by design.
Everything's by design. So, once again, our new viewers, you come over from Mark Devlin's channel, welcome to Rise Above Fridays.
Absolutely.
We go through the week's crazy news. We have a little drink along the way. We have fun. We've got some music in
Well,
the
it's our
studio
Friday
tonight.
night too.
It's our Friday night too. Yeah, you know, we all had lives.
I'm not going to sit in a beer garden. It's fucking 7 degrees outside here.
We all had lives before the Coviet Union.
Yeah.
All of us. Every single goddamn one of us. You what?
I'm going to play some tunes tonight that are not drum bass, not grime, not... I'm going to play some music tonight that's not drum bass, not grime, not urban, not anything.
Oh, really? Okay. That'll be different.
Not anything. Do you hear that, guys? We're going to play music tonight. There's not anything.
Literally
That-
play
we are
some
gonna
not,
play
some
some
not anything.
air.
Some not anything music. Right. So, we know what the glorious cure is. This is how many glorious cures get given to a 6-year-old child. I mean, we all know this,
6-year-old.
but it's like when you're looking at stuff like this and we're literally seeing the fruition of everyone's worst fears literally happening in front of our faces, it's always worth remembering. This is what's been happening for decades. This is the precursor to our current situation. That is worth remembering. Yeah? This Coviet Union didn't just come out of nowhere. It didn't come out of nowhere. They've been doing this for years. The reason... Oh, I'm going to spoil it. I'm going to make one of my new little thought videos this, but I've always said, right, the reason that the Coviet Union can take control so effortlessly in the minds of people
Is this.
this is why.
And the water.
And the water and the media and the cultural Marxism and
Fluoride in
all
the
of
water,
it.
and the toothpaste, and all the
constantly,
big chemtrails. What else we got?
constantly
What other
demoralising
Schwab
people.
dust in the air. You know, all the Schwab tech that you're inhaling on a daily basis, your non-organic fruits, all the fertilizers that everyone's inhaling when they're eating their Tesco value vegetables.
Nano dust, the estrogen in the plastic,
All of it.
all of it.
A whole lot.
Uh.
Just to dumb you down, make you compliant.
We'll have a try. We'll have one last try of you with spoken word nerd with your echo.
I'm just sending you my email. That's definitely echoing. I'll send you my email in the chat.
Okay, cool. Yeah, give Andy a beer. Right, next up, we're going to go to India. And you know I've got a man on the ground in India. Got first mate Pete. He's on the ground in India. He's a rise above agent. I think I've got a message from him. Let me find one. Where is it? First mate Pete. Well, I've got a new video there. Right, okay. So, this is what I said. I said, imagine if people in India are being told that the second wave of propaganda and misappropriated deaths that they're currently suffering from is actually caused by a rogue variant from England. Spoiler, they are. Once you understand the modus operandi of the agenda, it becomes very transparent. Hashtag rise above, the Greta reset.
Very fitting.
Very fitting, right? So,
Very apt.
check this out. This is a newspaper from India from Friday, April the 9th. Look at the headline.
75%
of adverse deaths in India within 3 days of jab.
75%.
Let's recapitulate, as Godfadge would say. Wim, I love it when Wim says that. And Wim, I know you're watching, mate. Big up Godfadge, you're amazing. Please come out with the next video about the hive queen.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Next week it should be out. God,
When the content's that good, you can say, I make one video a month. See, I've got to make like one video a week because my content's just not as good as Godfadge. I'm not even doing one a week. Right, mate, those are good. What's that? Just
Yeah,
like a
little
twig
pretzel sticks, mate.
Pretzel stick, wow. So, 75% of adverse deaths. What's an adverse death? Does that mean a death from adverse reaction?
Well, I mean,
So most people, so 75% of people that die within 3 days of getting the glorious cure.
die within 3 days.
India reviewing 700 severe events reported after vaccination. It's not very good, is it?
Did you see the headline last week?
700 different like ailments or different adverse reactions, or 700 counting people.
Well, it's severe events. What are you saying, word nerd? I just turned you up a bit there.
Sorry, did you see the headline this week? They tried to pass it off coronavirus situation. It was an old headline.
Yep, funny you should say that. I'm just coming to that.
Oh, is it?
Here we go. COVID surge is swallowing people in India. Literally, the Coviet Union is just sucking them out of the street. They're going down the drain and they're never being seen again. They're getting swallowed in India. Really? Behold. Yeah? Look at this woman here. And look at the woman here. Behold. This is from May 7th, 2020. People found a woman lying on the road following a gas leak. Only one of these things can be true.
Pathetic.
They cannot both be true. Here's another one. Here's a fantastic one. This is where India is right now, and I think they said that this woman was waiting for an ambulance sat at the side of the road.
For 3 years.
Well, yeah, because the photo's from 3 years ago.
She's been waiting for an ambulance for 3 years, guys. Yeah.
She's still sat there now, waiting for an ambulance.
Oh, because someone give her a jacket, man. She ain't even got a jacket. Look.
So there's quite a few of these.
This is literally pathetic. Honestly, it's absolutely pathetic. And the people that still watch this, like the mainstream news, it's pathetic. It's quite frankly pathetic.
Yeah.
At this point.
What is that dinging sound? Is that a word?
It's a shameless propaganda as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to ruin a further slide, but the climate change little was that BBC that we've all seen this week of the Himalayas, 2 pictures of the Himalayas.
Yeah, I haven't got that in. I didn't get a chance.
Absolutely ridiculous. They've got 2 people in the bottom right of the screen in both pictures, and they're supposed to be.
And they photoshopped.
20 years
They photoshopped
apart. They're wearing the same clothes. Come on.
Photoshopped the mountains into one of them, saying this is because of the lockdowns.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Because we've already said the Greta reset is Coviet, it's carbon, it's economic,
It's climate change.
it's everything,
all wrapped into
everything
one.
in one. Just swab it all together, swab it all into one singular thing. And we'll be talking about the singularity later.
Tie
on.
the whole lot up with nanotech.
Yeah. That's what's happening. Right. Okay. This is an interesting graph when we talk about India. This comes from Our World in Data. Now, if you look at the peaks and the troughs of this graph and where someone has annotated it, now ivermectin is like that. It's like
Ivermectin.
It's like a hydroxychloroquine kind of thing. It's basically a preventative.
These been around for like 45 years or something.
Word nerds, Echo is bad. Sorry, word nerds, can't come in the stream.
I think ivermectin is the same as hydrochloroquine. It's like it's a little bit less, but it's used for like 45 years, something like that.
Oh right, okay. So only 4 decades rather than 6.
Yeah.
So this is when they was stopped using it in August. Oh, sorry, that's when it was introduced. So here the level of COVID goes down. Then they give the vaccine here at the lowest level, and then it just goes badoosh like that, all in 1 month, almost like the first time COVID ever hits.
And it's never been that bad.
No, never been that bad.
Never
Straight
been
after
that
Glorious
bad.
Cure.
Straight after the glorious cure.
Sort of like what happened in December here.
And it's continuing to happen.
Yeah. Well, how many times did they roll out the Glorious Cure? What, you have to have 2 every year, don't you?
I don't know, mate. I'm not even paying attention now.
Yeah, here's the same thing. Showed you that one before. Here's the 2 side by side. See, they're clearly using old stories. This one Master Lee sent me. You know, talking about oxygen, the big oxygen shortage. Well, oxygen's been in massive short supply in India for years, just like they've been burning people in the street for years. It's natural, everyday practice. It's what they do. You know, look at what happens to our health system every winter. Oh, people are dying in the corridors. Imagine what it's like in India when they've got 1.3 billion people. They have 10 people to 1 toilet in India. Imagine what the hospitals are like. You know, obviously some of them are good, where they've got money, but I bet most of them are pretty appalling. So, anyway, first mate Pete was in the nearest city to Goa, and he was driving past hospitals and clinics trying to find some that were busy. He couldn't. He took this photo here of this clinic.
This is literally boots on the ground directly in India.
Emergency and trauma, yeah? This is my man in India. Big up first mate Pete. 24 hours emergency and trauma. So this is not a plastic surgery clinic. It's not a dental clinic. It's not a maternity clinic. This is for trauma and emergency. If you're dying, this is where you go. As you can see, it's absolutely overwhelmed. Here's another one. This is Galaxy Hospital, where they have ambulances. So again, they have an emergency unit. There's a pharmacy there. Again, you can see it's utterly overwhelmed. Now, I'll be fair. This is from one city. My man on the ground can only be in one place at once. So he'd come from Udaipur, I believe, and he's gone to Goa. And as he's gone there, the 4-day lockdown came in on guess when? The supermoon. The supermoon.
Of course.
First mate Pete called me the day before. He goes, I guarantee if I use your formula, they will announce the full lockdown on the supermoon tomorrow. Lo and behold, they did. So yeah, big up first mate Pete. Thank you for bringing us these pictures. Here's a good one. Where does it hurt, doctor? Oh, in my head, the cognitive dissonance from being challenged. Oh, down here, I've got a gut feeling that something isn't right. But admitting that the conspiracy theorist was right all along, that just hurts all over, doctor.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I cannot do it. Imagine how many people are in this situation right
now, literally as we speak.
Sometimes I do wonder if people like us and Rise Above and other people that are doing this, we might be slightly guilty in pushing certain people into the corner a bit more. Because I think with some people it's pride. So, like, imagine if you've been staunch narrative defender all along, and you've had a friend like you or me who's constantly
spouting off about the Coviet
Union,
Union,
constantly been absolutely
narrative
fundamentally
attacking.
like straight down the line, haven't changed their story from day one. Right, this is happening, this is going to happen next you're going to see this, then you're going to see that. Yeah, if you've had someone around you doing that all the time and you're constantly denying, saying no, you're wrong, while the thing is happening in front of your face.
How's that red pill taste?
They can't consume the red pills. They're actually chewing their own face off with absolute just terror, disgust, internal, massive internal conflict. Yeah, you're going to back yourself so far into a corner that even when the Coviet Union has got you down on the floor and it's smacking you directly in the face, you're still going to deny it's there. You're going to argue to the toss, to the gritting your teeth to the death and say that it's just a stupid conspiracy theory. So, well, everyone's made their own bed and everyone is going to have to lie in their bed. That's all I'm going to say. I'm glad that I built a bed, a table, etc., etc. I've got to say, when the Coviet Union gives you lemons, don't just make lemonade, Andy PG. You build yourself a fucking bespoke lemonade stand and you start knocking out artisan lemonade by the barrel, by the gallon.
We've got an orchard. Guys.
Yeah, we've got an orchard. We've got an orchard. I've got a big table to sell my lemonade. Come and drink my lemonade. This is Rise Above, baby. Right, up next.
No ice. This is not
no
diluted.
ice. Straight.
This is not diluted.
There's no water in it.
It's icy cold.
It's just ice cold, pure, just lemon concentrate. I shouldn't laugh, right? Because you shouldn't laugh, because this meme represents people with vaccine damages. But if you're stupid enough to tell people that this means it's working,
looks like someone's made this in Paintbrush Pro.
Yeah, it's quality, mate. It's fucking quality. But if you're gonna be vaccine damaged and then you're gonna go in the media and you're gonna tell other people to get the second dose, I believe that is karmic natural law in action.
Absolutely.
But maybe you shouldn't have been recommending something that you hadn't done your homework into. Just perhaps. Gosh. It's a bit slow, that button. I need to speed that up. Right. Now, I think Joe Ward posted this. Great meme. People, I really wish we could go back to the past before the elites ruled us. The past.
Yeah.
I'm just going to zoom in on that one. This is an ancient Egyptian meme. Because in case anyone didn't know, memes were invented in ancient Egypt by the ancient Egyptian Kekistani god of chaos.
Of course.
Right. But think about it. Look how much meaning is actually conveyed in this ancient hieroglyph. Right?
So, to me, this is this is basically the right and the left.
Yeah, this is the Hegelian dialects, right? Played over 1, 2, 3, sort of like 4 levels of density. So at the bottom, you've literally got like the peasants down on their hands and knees, holding up the table for the people here that are fighting the war. But they're being like sort of puppeted by these guys here.
You've got the 2 generals at the edge, yeah, and then you've got your 2 politician puppets literally on strings there, being made to move by the god, and then above them, like there's the deities.
Yeah.
So that's the deities.
So this is like Ra and Set, isn't it? It's like Ra Set. Yeah. Just like right and left.
Yeah.
Ra Set. Yeah.
Right and left wing.
And here you've got like the priest class with like their elongated heads here, really long arms. And they're making everyone go to war and stealing all their money out the back pocket. Sound familiar? Anyway. No, it's not over. This is a good one. Someone made this. Visit the COVID-19 Information Centre for Vaccine Resources. Get vaccine info here. NPC. There's a whole crowd of NPCs saying it, but when they posted it, they actually created an NPC echo chamber of visit the COVID-19 Information Centre for Vaccine Resources. It went on for 3 more because they kept screenshotting it and posting it again, and then he kept getting another one to see how many they could score.
Yeah, nice.
But I tell you what, follow NPC Wars Reserve Corps. They are absolutely dope. Nice. I could literally make a whole show just out of their memes.
Just about them.
Yeah. Really superb memes. You think you can milk a certain meme? They're not even getting halfway down the barrel. They're not like there's a long way to go with the NPC meme. It just keeps giving, never stops. Andy PG.
Scientists can tell us how a mummy died 10,000 years ago, but when thousands of babies die in their sleep 48 hours after glorious cures, it's a sudden, unexplainable death. Nobody knows, guys. It is a mystery of life. One of those, it's basically There's no even point in looking into it, really.
They can even fly a helicopter
Nothing
on
to
the
see here.
surface of Mars, apparently.
Nothing to see here, guys. Move along.
Yeah, nothing to see here.
But look, SpaceX is going up.
Yeah. Right. I thought I'd put a more positive meme in the middle of all the Covietism. Right. You think you can't make a difference? Look what a mere seed can do.
A little tiny seed.
It can literally crack a boulder. Or as I like to say, Andy PG, a single candle can light up the darkness.
Yes, it
That
can.
is the power that we all harness. Double LMC 2016. So yeah, it's important when we look at all this negative shit to remember. Everyone says, well, you can talk about that, but you're never going to make a difference. You know, what does it matter? You can't ever do anything. Well, a small axe can chop down a very big tree, as Robert Nesta Marley said, yeah? And a seed, if you plant it in the right place, it can crack a boulder open. So let's plant some seeds. Gear up the decks. We'll have a musical break in a minute. They're queued, ready to roll. All right, let's get back into the mix with Oma Beats and Magics. And we've got more Covietism coming up next. And then we're going to talk about transhumanism. Boom.
Rise above, generate, rise above, extinguish fear, rise above, abstract.
Well. Another wicked set from our in-house DJs. I'll tell you what, Andy PG, is Rise Above evolving or what?
Yeah, I'm loving it, mate. Each week we're getting better.
It is like with this Queef Master Pro.
Just linking up with Master Lee.
Master Lee is just coming into the studio. We'll just turn him down on here. You just answer Master Lee.
Or is he there? There we go.
There he is. Hello, Master Lee, Inner Guardians. Welcome to the stream.
Salutations.
Salutations, mate. You're sounding great.
No echo.
No echo whatsoever. When we work directly inside the studio, especially with the Queef Master Pro, we never get an echo. Big up Rode, direct from Australia, a bit of Australian hardware. I can't recommend this thing enough. It's fantastic. Gosh. Yeah, exactly. Gosh. Right. So, Lee, welcome to the stream. I'm just going to get to where we were, which is our subject of the week. It's transhumanism. And I know that you've been excited to come in the stream this week without any stupid echo because you've got some stuff you want to talk to us about transhumanism.
Yeah, well, for me, this whole transhumanism era that is coming upon us was the origins of the Inner Guardians, because I recognised many years ago, around about 20 years ago, excuse the dog barking.
That's okay. The dog barking we can live with. The best part is there is no echo. Everyone in the comment section is already, yes, Inner Guardians, no echo. Boom. Sensei in the house. Carry on, mate.
Yeah, so the origins of the Inner Guardians came about because of the research I did, starting from around about 20 years ago, with the subject of transhumanism and the singularity. And as most of you are aware, with regards to the 2030, the year of the singularity.
Yeah.
So
That's what I thought it was. We're counting down to the 2030 in more than one way, I think.
Yeah, that's the timeline they've set. Now, whether they've been able to keep to it is another debate. They could be sort of panicking, pushing things in a hurry, hence why it's such a mess. But to be fair, with the condition of humanity as it stands, they could pretty much get away with any type of circus, as we're witnessing.
Yeah, absolutely. They could literally seem to be getting away with any type of lunacy at the moment. Are you sort of suggesting that we're already down the road of this plan, and that's why they're able to get away with what they're getting away with? Is that what you're edging towards?
Definitely, yes. Now, I didn't really want to mention this at the moment, but I will mention it. Now, because people think that transhumanism is something that's coming in the future. Okay. But in actual fact, if you was to take somebody from the Amazon that's never left the Amazon, and they looked at you doing your shopping in Tesco, driving a car, using your shopping app, you get there's a trolley, you use one of those self-scanning devices, and so on and so forth. What would it look like to somebody that's never left the Amazon?
Mate, this is crazy, Lee. Yeah, 100%, mate. I'm on board with what you're saying. They wouldn't have a clue. They've obviously never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, they would think that we're kind of either some kind of machines or robots or whatever. even though that probably wouldn't be in their psyche. But you can already see that the genetic modifications have already taken place. Now, even the technology we're using right now is quite unbelievable. If you try to explain to your great-grandparents how to use Skype, Zoom, mobile phone, instant messaging, they would think that you're crazy. A conspiracy theorist, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, the main difference that's about to take place is that there's going to be the merging, and this is where the inner guardian fits straight in. You've got the intrusion of outside technology that's going to be going inside of the psyche. That's the line that they're going to cross.
This is a violation.
Absolutely, yes. This is where the almost said the word, but let's say the jab.
The injection.
The jab, yeah, the injection is a penetration into the body. And then what's to follow will be the penetration into the psyche, the mind, the emotions.
So, Inner Guardians, do you believe that will be through the injection, or is that later going to come after?
I think it could be both, but I would suggest that they're trying to get people used to external technologies invading the body. So, for instance, this could just be the warm-up for people getting used to turning up somewhere, somebody sticks something inside you, and it's a foreign entity.
Yeah.
So we're going to get used to having foreign entities inserted into us. So this is like the warm-up stage of what's to come.
Right, on that note, Inner Guardians, I would actually like to play this video, which is directly from one of our great friends, Lord Schwab. Says. Lord Schwab. This is what he says the fourth industrial revolution is all about, and it actually goes along with what you just said there. There's an inroad being made into our biomatter, into our bodies, right? So what are they going to put inside us? Lord Schwab has got some ideas. Let's have a quick listen. I'd like you to hear your thoughts in the Guardians.
It's at the end, what the fourth industrial revolution will lead to is a fusion of our physical, our digital, and our biological identities. When I wrote the book, I started to write it for years ago. It was published 3 years ago. It was sold, very interesting, over 1 million times in the world. And
just going to pause it there to avoid a copyright strike.
What is interesting is that 800,000 copies, more than 800,000 copies of those 2 million were sold in 3 countries alone: China, Japan, and South Korea. You may be interested, who was the biggest buyer? With 16,000 copies at the same time. It was the Korean military. Because the fourth industrial revolution will have a major impact also on warfare.
So, merging our physical, biological, and what was the other one?
Physical, biological, and
digital identities together with warfare applications.
What does he mean by identities?
Well, your digital identity will be melded with your physical. I think we can see where that's going.
Do you know what I mean?
So a proper horizontalist, as you would say, Master Lee, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So the key word that he used was fusion. That's a very important term. Now, in terms of like the esoteric, I'll give you an example. So this is commonly known in esoteric groups. So thinking must feel, and feeling must think. Both must fuse together into one or real inner standing. Either alone can do nothing of real value. The fusion together produces another force. So by combining two, you get the three, which creates a whole new, creates a whole new anything. So when you put two things together, so you could use, say, for instance, colors. When you put one color with another color, it produces a different color. So what we're looking at by fusing various things, which is, this modification, and a very important word that people need to start to look into is the word terraforming.
Yeah.
The terraforming. Yeah.
Because that term is usually used about other planets, isn't it? We hear that like people like Elon Musk want to go to Mars and terraform Mars, but we don't.
Yeah, it's in a geographical sense.
Yeah. So what do you mean by terraforming?
Well, as terra, means material or earth or something like that. But potentially we're made from the earth anyway. We're made from the elements. So, for instance, when they talk about terraforming another planet, they could equally be talking about terraforming a human. Because remember, everything's encrypted and coded.
Yeah, okay.
This is something else that I wanted to discuss. So, if you talk about the space program, as an example, now everybody's heard about the space police or space army or whatever.
Space Force.
Space Force, yeah, that's going to be out in outer space.
Yeah.
Okay. And it needs this amount of funding and this amount of research and this amount of development. Potentially, what they could be talking about is not outer space at all, but inner space. And if you change the word outer space to cyberspace, that includes the digital.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So
Yeah,
because
now
it's not called Outer Space Force, is it? It's just called Space Force.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it gets really, really interesting. So, as an example, if you're talking about cyberspace force, fundamentally you're talking about a force that can police cyberspace, which we kind of already got the gist of that, yeah?
Yeah.
But let's take it a step further. All right, so we've all witnessed the censorship of the digital platform, yeah?
Yep. We witness it all the time.
Yeah, so just imagine this, right? And I don't want to scare the audience, but just think about it for a little while. So, for instance, if they can censor a digital platform and then the digital intrudes into the psyche or the mind, that equally means that they can censor and police what you think and feel.
Ooh.
That's the end game, which will make you into a complete slave. So, for instance, us having a discussion about any type of pushback or resistance would mean in the future you wouldn't even have those thoughts.
Yeah.
That is total control.
Wow, mate, you've almost skipped to the end of the slideshow there. Do you know what? This is how great it is to actually have Inner Guardians in chat uninterrupted. Someone earlier on in the comment section said, "Rise above, tonight you are cooking on gas." And that's right, we are.
So Inner Guardians, the dark occultists who are perpetrating this at the head of the wheel, they themselves obviously aren't going to be in this state of.
Well, they think they are. Let's show the screen. They think they are. Look at this that I found from 2016. The 1% discovers transhumanism at Davos in 2016. I've obviously put this Health Chancellor Gates statue here. It's from a thing called Utopia or Dystopia. I'll just read it out. The World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, just wrapped up its annual gathering. It isn't hard to make fun of this year's coming together of the global economic and cultural elites who rule the world, or at least they think they do. A comment by one of the journalists covering the event summed it up. How even those who are really in the sense of have the fate of the world in their hands are blinded by the glitz as the rest of us. And I think he's talking about they're blinded by the glitz of transhumanism. Rather than want to discuss policy, the question we had most been asked if we'd seen Kevin Spacey or Bono. Yeah, these people are a bunch of jokers. Nevertheless, 2016 World Economic Forum might go... pardon me. Those pistachios clogging up my throat. In 2016, the WEF might go down in history as one of the most important for the year when the world's rich and powerful acknowledged we had entered into the age of the transhumanist revolution.
So they're basically bigging it up.
Yeah, look at this. The theme of this year's WEF was that Klaus Schwab calls the Fourth Industrial Revolution a period of deeply transformative change, which Schwab believes we are merely at the beginning of. So, yeah, last industrial revolution was 1760 to 1840, etc., etc. Okay, here's the first place it appears. He talks about the coming Internet of Things and artificial intelligence and machine learning, ubiquitous sensors, big data. So this is back in 2016 when they're sort of pumping it into the mainstream consciousness. I'll come on to the next slide in a minute. But they've obviously known about this for a lot longer than 2016. Let's not pretend for a second that Lord Schwab and these guys
ready first.
Yeah, they've this has been in the works for ages, and there's a slide coming up soon that will show that. I'll just try and find it. So
look at
I bet they had this tech ready in the 90s, and they've just been ready like step by step to bring it in.
Well, look at this collection of slides. In the Guardians, I think you shared one of these in the WhatsApp group. Was it you?
I can't see the.
It's Time magazine, and it's the future of medicine.
Oh, yeah.
With the snake around the caduceus, and then I've got 6 other Time magazines, all throughout the 90s and the early 2000s. The future of medicine, genetic engineering, man to superhuman, solving the mysteries of DNA. This has been talked about for decades.
On the subject of DNA, is there anybody in the chat or any of you guys can look at what is the length or the distance of DNA if it's stretched out from one single human?
I've heard a very outlandish quote that it would go to the moon or back or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. If anybody can sort of, I don't know, get some references on.
Yeah, there's a little bit of homework. There's a bit of homework there.
Yeah, because if it's what I think it's going to be, that would completely explain, as above, so below, as within, so without. The universe is contained within us.
Yep.
Which is a fundamental principle of any hermetic practice or esoteric study. That has to be grasped. So for instance, outer space is actually inner space. Everybody has a moon and a sun and the other planets within them.
Magix has actually Googled your question there in real time in the Guardians. How long is it?
It's about 67 billion miles.
67 billion miles.
Not 66.
So it's about
66,
Yeah.
not 33.
About 150,000
double 33.
round trips to the moon.
How many? 100,000 round trips to the moon?
150,000.
100. So I said it would take you to the moon once. It would actually take you to the moon and back 150,000 times. 66 billion miles.
The 67.
67. God, it was 1 billion out. Small margin of error, hey.
And are those figures from the BBC?
Where did you get that? Was that from Wikipedia? NIH. Oh, American official data directly from Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
Directly from the forcibles, the Fauci.
Regardless of what the numbers are, right? It's fair to say that it's a lot more than what we would even imagine.
Yeah, you can't even conceive.
Sure.
You can't conceive 1,000,000 miles. You know, you can think about 10, 100 miles. You can pretty much just about conceptualize 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
Just about. But
a million is a whole different game.
No. And then billion, like in the Guardian said in our private chat, most people have no idea about the difference between 1,000,000 and 1,000,000,000.
No. And then you go to a trillion.
Yeah. Exponential growth, isn't it? It's exponential growth.
The only reason I mention this is to try and evoke or arouse the notion of how immense we actually are as biotech or human tech. And I was always taught that we contain the universe. So if you want to establish first principles of something that's far away, like the moon, then you go within and you explore the moon within. So remember what I said about food for the moon?
Food for the moon, yep. I'm not going to forget that one in a hurry.
So the outward projection of being food for the moon is pretty much a negative. But in actual fact, if you've got the moon inside you, you can feed the inner moon. So nothing is lost.
So you can actually become like a self-generating energy machine where you can recycle your own energy.
Yes. Yeah. And it's all about energy. Everything is about energy. Now, the only way to escape the slave realm and narrative and mind control is to use what's known as escape velocity. Escape velocity is a particular type of energy that is produced when you fuse different components. And this is the essence of alchemy.
Wow.
Sorry, can you just repeat that, Lee?
The only way I've ever reached escape velocity, I think, is by smoking a double massive pipe of spirit molecule. That's the only way I've ever done it, or by having maybe, is that when you say escape velocity, you're talking about breaking through some sort of transmorphic barrier? What do you mean?
No, it means the creation of a soul. Remember, they don't want you to create a soul, because when you've got a soul, you have your own permanent identity. That is completely sovereign.
Are you trying to suggest again that people that have fallen for the Coviet lie are actually NPCs that don't have a soul? Wow. We can't say about all of them, but could that be true on some level? They haven't, or is their soul not breaking through into the physical? Is that what you mean?
Well, we need to establish first principles as to what is a soul. Now, we've been missold what the meaning of a soul actually is.
We've been missold what a soul is.
Missold.
Mate. So good to have you. It's so good to have you without the echo, mate. I feel like we can actually finally get down to business again. Carry on.
Yeah, this is going to cause some ripples in the ether.
Please.
Right. So people, we've been taught that through predominantly religious practices and ideas that you're born with a soul. Now, the esoteric occultists, they don't necessarily see that. They see that we're born with the potential to develop a soul. The soul is the goal. It's not that we have it.
I'm sorry to butt in, Marsley. So let's just maybe because we've got some new viewers from the Mark Tevin podcast. There's a massive difference between the soul and essence, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And spirit.
Yeah. So we're everyone is born with essence and
spirit,
and you develop the soul over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most people don't know the difference between spirit, soul, and essence. It's always mixed up and misappropriated.
So they're not interchangeable terms?
No.
Okay,
no. And this is the knowledge that they don't want you to know. This is what's hidden. Now, people say to me, what do we need to, what is the true knowledge? Well, an easy answer is it's everything that they didn't tell you. And if they did tell you, they've either inverted it or compounded it to create chaos within the knowledge.
Simple. Everything they didn't tell you. That's what you need to know. It's like we were saying. If you want to research whether something in the mainstream media is actually valid or not, just look on Snopes.
Fact check.
Yeah. Just look on the most bait fact checker. If it says that if they debunk it, then what you want to do is just reverse engineer that and then go and see what the real truth is. Yeah.
Well, we use the same principle, and you'll understand this, Mark, because as your connection with mixed martial arts. Now, people always ask me about, what is the ideal personal protection or self-defense combat system or techniques? I say to them, well, go to a combat sport and look at all of the illegal techniques, all the things you're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
Take all of them. So you take all of the fouls, take them and build a training program. And there's your perfect self-defense.
Right, so when people come to the Grid Dojo and they want to learn the real hardcore shit, did you just teach them everything that you're not allowed to do in MMA?
Eye gouging and, the really dark, nasty bits of Krav Maga.
I've seen more MMA fights up close than the average man. I've seen a lot, because when I do MMA shows, you might see 25 or 35 fights in an evening. They get through a lot of fights because they generally don't last very long. And if anybody does do an illegal move, like, using like elbows when you're not supposed to directly into someone's skull and stuff like that, you can tell because the fight is over very quickly.
Yeah.
If anyone uses one of those moves that are off the card of approved moves, you can guarantee that's the move that just ended the fight, and someone's probably left in a stretcher, and there's probably a big pool of blood, and it will take longer to clear up the pool of blood than it did for the fight to happen. So yeah, absolutely. God, I missed that. I need to get back to that.
Well, hopefully it's coming back soon.
Well, I can tell you, I'm going to be 3rd of July, BKB at O2 Arena in front of a crowd of like 3,000 or 4,000 people, apparently.
Yeah, nice.
It's booked in. Hopefully it's going to happen 3rd of July.
Moving away from the sort of esoteric side of things, of life, what was your take on the UFC event in, I believe it was Florida, where I think it was it had the biggest gate? of all time.
The biggest,
So you've got
biggest viewership.
no a crowd attendance.
Oh, crowd attendance. I've only heard about this. I heard about the horrific injury to the guy's leg. His leg got snapped. But yeah,
but in a pandemic, in the pandemic,
I think that's Florida
in
for you,
Florida.
mate. I think that's Florida for you. Floridians are not. My auntie and uncle lived in Florida for like 25, 30 years. So up until the age of 16, that was the only holiday I ever went on. I spent a lot of time in Florida, near to Miami and Fort Lauderdale. People in Florida, they don't care. They do whatever they like. They have massive trucks. No one is stopping them. They hate the government. Big up the Floridians. They are literally they're sticking a massive finger up to the Coviet Union. Massive finger.
But what does that mean to the rest of America, where some parts are still in lockdown, some are still wearing masks, and so on and so forth?
Lee,
it completely destroys the narrative.
Completely destroyed it. I've been in comment section with people
Same
in
as
America.
Texas.
They're talking about masks, and they're saying, "Oh, someone's telling a mask story," and I said, "Why don't you just say you're exempt?" I was like, "Sorry, I'm not from the UK. We can't do that here. If you go inside without a mask, someone will call the police, and the police will come and arrest you and take you away."
Wow.
Well, I showed you my friend Ed in Malta. He did a little report for us with a few photos. People getting arrested on the beach for not wearing a mask.
Yeah,
600 euro fines for locals, 100 euros for foreigners.
Tourists.
Doesn't make any sense. Usually tourists get the higher fine, don't they? But yeah, mate, absolutely destroying the narrative. Like now we're back onto psyops, but yeah, it's all relevant because at the end of the day,
It's all connected.
it's all connected. Lee, are you using your mobile phone to do the Skype call, or are you on your computer?
I'm on the mobile phone.
Well, I'll tell you what you could do on your computer. Just get the YouTube up and turn the sound off. Then you can see what I'm sharing on the screen. Because I've actually got a really interesting article from just a couple of months ago, from 2021. It's from something called EARS, the European Academy on Religion and Society. And the article is called Coronavirus and the Transhuman Future. Right, and this article is a little bit scathing. They're actually telling the truth, right? And I'll read some out. But yeah, Lee, if you want to see the screen, just do that. Just put the YouTube stream onto your computer and turn the volume off. So it says, while most of humanity, I'm just going to share the screen for people that actually are watching. While most of humanity is still in the middle of the coronavirus crisis, the highly influential members of the World Economic Forum have a plan for what should come next. It's called the Great Reset, and it envisions a truly transhumanist future for us all. And the thing is, like, I know we keep saying it, but we've been talking about this stuff since day one. This is the reason I made Rise Above.
When's the first time you read Agenda 21? Not Agenda 30, Agenda 21.
Shortly after it was written.
Yeah, mine was in 2014. I read that.
Was it written in 2012?
I thought it was 2010.
I think I read it in
Was
2012.
it in 2012? Yeah.
Yeah, I read it in 2012, so
Yeah.
like 9 years ago.
Mine was 2014. So
So it says the World Economic Forum, WEF, is an annual conference where some of the wealthy and most powerful people come together for private and public cooperation. Since mid-2020, the WEF has been promoting its vision for the post-coronavirus future, which they call the Great Reset. In their view, the pandemic has exposed the weaknesses of the old system and therefore presents a perfect opportunity to reset our world and start anew. What is striking about this plan, which the WEF, the World Economic Forum, has condensed into a virus-shaped mind map, is its implicit endorsement of a philosophy called transhumanism. This is where the whole Rise Above whole rabbit comes together. This is how it comes together with everything that we've been talking about, with the Coviet Union, with Lord Schwab, with his nanotech, with the Great Reset. This is an important
Everything.
show because this is bringing it all together.
This is how they're bringing in the transhumanism, is through the coronavirus.
Yeah, the term is not used explicitly, but its values and its goals can be seen at every level of the plan. Now, according to some, transhumanism is not just a new philosophy, but a new religion that will be a dominant worldview of humanity going forward. Now, big up Virus Man, RIP, welcome to New Schwabia. Transhumanism and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Now, one of the three main goals of the Greta Reset, is to harness the innovations of the Fourth Industrial Revolution to support the public good. Yeah, right, to support the public good. As the founder of the WEF, Klaus Schwab explains, the Fourth Industrial Revolution will lead to a fusion of our biological, digital, and our identities. We've covered all this. Sound familiar? As Schwab admits himself, these technologies can intrude into the hitherto private space of our minds, reading our thoughts and influencing our behaviour. What were you talking about a moment ago in The Guardians?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, he's admitting that this is coming in the future. We would actually suggest that this has been going on for a little bit longer. I appear to have skipped there. So yeah, this is the WS vision for a future. Therefore, they say it should be quite desirable. And we can only look, here are the precursors. I showed this a minute ago. This is going back to the 90s, early 00s, late 00s. Tinkering with life, drugs of the future, DNA changing drugs.
Programming.
Addictive programming. They've been telling us it's coming for ages.
Just putting it out there.
Transhumanism as a new religion. So this is all very, very sort of prophetic in the Guardians, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And like I say, this was the origins of the Inner Guardians, because I realised that it's not necessarily just the physical, external aspects of ourselves that needs protection, but it's actually the internal side. Because think about it, the authorities could take you, kidnap you, lock you up, and they can basically do what they want physically. But in the cell, in your mind, you could be on the beach, sunbathing or listening to music in your mind. And a lot of prisoners will often talk about this ability to visualize and be creative when they spend long periods in solitude or incarcerated.
I know someone that did. I know someone that was locked up only for a few months, but he'd never been inside before. But he'd learnt Wim Hof breathing techniques before this happened. And if he's watching, he'll know who he is. And he told me that basically he said, I could be in the cell all day, but I wasn't in the cell. I could do my breathing techniques, I could get in the right zone, I could leave and I wouldn't be there anymore. He said it was fine.
Do you remember in Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter says to Clarice Starling, "This is all I've got, my memories is all I've got." That's what he says. So if they take that away from you, that is pure torture in every sense.
That's the synthetic universe that we've been talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, there's something else I wanted to bring up, if that's okay.
Absolutely, mate. We've got you here, and no echoes.
Mate,
please drop
honestly,
the bomb.
the people in the chat are loving this in the Guardians. You crack on.
Right. Okay. So we've covered the psyops. We're covering transhumanism. Now there's and obviously we've got the pandemic that we're always covering. Now let's not forget the alien agenda or alien invasion agenda. Now, when you throw that into the mix, that creates a whole new force, a whole new version of a potential reality.
Whole new kettle of rabbits, that one.
Yeah. So later on, I will go a little bit more into what I feel that the alien agenda is really about.
I can't wait for that, literally, mate. I cannot wait for that. Is that later on or is that now?
No, it will come up without a doubt. Right. We can keep talking.
No, because I've still got loads more. I've still got loads more aspects to go through. Because at the moment we're really sort of skimming the rabbit hole about this. Really, we're talking about blending identities, putting something to read your mind. But there's many different aspects to this.
I'll give you a taster. So, for instance, you've got artificial intelligence or AI. Okay, so what is the opposite to that? It would be the original intelligence. Okay, and then if you mix in the synthetic universe and the word sin, then you've got original sin. Now, then when you throw in the alien agenda, it gets really, really interesting. So I'll just put that out there for now.
Yeah. We'll leave that. We'll put that there on the back burner so everyone can see it roasting and bubbling, and we'll come back to it. Because
come back when it's fully cooked.
Yeah, we'll come back when it's nice and toasted. So on the screen here, we've got Lord Schwab, Transhumanism as a new religion, and basically it's talking about, he distinguishes between two types of transhumanist techno religions: techno-humanism and dataism, data religion. In the first view, technology enhanced humans, Homo Deus. So they already got a name for this new type of human. Not Homo sapiens, Homo Deus. Have you ever heard of this term in the Guardians? In the Guardians? Have we lost it?
Yeah, I'm quite familiar with this this type of stuff.
Homo Deus, right? So it says it will replace biological humans, Homo sapiens, and develop a hierarchical, class-based relationship with them. In the second view, humanity is replaced with new kinds of digital entities, such as all-knowing, self-aware AI, artificial intelligence, that has no more use for us. In this future, data information processing would replace God or human nature as the ultimate source of meaning and authority in the universe. This was a good find, this article. I was really pleased when I found this.
Yeah.
A self...
Sorry.
No, go on, please interject.
No, I was just going to say that you can see already that they're trying to be like they're playing God. They're trying to create they're trying to make a creation on the horizontal line that doesn't include any
no spirituality whatsoever.
Yeah, proper digital horizontalists. Someone just put this. Lee Boy G just put this comment: Homo Deus ex machina, or ex machina, however you pronounce it. Ex Machina was a great film about transhumanist robots, and there's Deus Ex, that computer game which is all about augmented humans in the future. I don't really play a lot of computer games. I played Deus Ex on the PlayStation 3. It was absolutely incredible. The whole storyline was about these competing factions of the Illuminati super corporate entity from the future, and they were doing these different augmentations on human. Then there were anti-augmentation terrorists. It was absolutely sick. Called Deus Ex. If anyone likes computer games, check that one out, because it's like the best transhumanist computer game. You could actually learn a lot about transhumanism by playing this computer game and watching the cutscenes, because it's very cinematic. They've spent tens of millions on this computer game. So
a lot of the modern Gnostics, they use, and you've heard me mention it before, we use gaming as a reference to explain a lot of the ideas and concepts.
So when you say you use gaming, what do you mean by that? You mean...
Well, like, for instance, the nature of reality, that it's kind of flexible, and it can be, there's different levels.
Oh, as a metaphor to explain it?
Yeah, and the rendering. The rendering is a very important aspect of understanding this reality. And also the player and the person behind the player. The relationship between the two. So you've got the character in the game, and then you've got the controller. And then you've got the rules and the parameters set out by the game itself. So you have to play within those rules. But once you understand the game, you can progress to the next levels, which means that there's further rendering. But also you've got things like game cheats, which have to be factored in. And you've got the denying forces. You've got the opposing forces that were trying to make you lose the game. So it's a very good analogy.
Very powerful analogies, mate.
Yeah, and often, so for instance, if I'm trying to explain the metaphysical, it's really difficult. Now, that's one of the reasons why a lot of modern Gnostics or occultists don't generally come forward, because it's very, very difficult to explain the intangible, the invisible, because there is no real physical map to the internal terrain. So this is why a lot of it's done in allegorical or using analogies to explain these metaphysical things.
Very interesting.
So just to carry on what I was saying, that I often use technology. So it could be a computer system. So if you want to explain the trivium, most people understand that how a computer works, that you've got the input, you've got the processing, then you've got the output, which that is the trivium. Input, processing, output. So when you explain it in that way, in sort of modern tech speak, the ancient occulted knowledge makes a lot of sense.
No, yeah, that's a great way to explain it. I mean, David Icke always used to talk about the TV screen. It's like the TV screen is, all of the things you're not watching are not contained inside the TV screen. It's receiving a signal from outside. When you smash the TV screen, the signal is still there. You talked about consciousness as a TV signal.
Yeah.
And I think, using a 3D rendered computer game is taking that 3 or 4 steps further. I remember before I started watching Godfad, and people would go about, do you believe in flat Earth? I say, I don't think the Earth is flat or round. I think we are rendering the horizon point in real time from 7 billion points of perspective, and it's being rendered in real time. Because I've always talked about
Wouldn't that mean that we are God?
Yeah, it means
we are not the creator. We're not the architect, in my opinion.
No, but I believe we're aspects of it.
Yeah, of course.
Basically, quantum. When they talk about the rendering, what Inner Guardians I believe is getting at here is quantum physics has basically almost proven that without a point of perception to observe the universe, it basically doesn't exist. They believe that the universe is actually rendered in real time from points of perception.
Okay.
Have you heard about this this work?
Yeah, we're points of projection, or we are the projection. So, as an example, I mean, these are ideas.
Yeah, these are loose ideas, these are concepts.
I can't say yay or nay, but as an example, it was taught to me that everybody has their own sun, their own moon. So if two people are stood on the beach and they're both looking at the sun, they're actually they're not. There's not one sun. There's not one reality. They could be looking at the same thing at the same time, but they're actually rendering their own sun. So everybody has their own personal sun.
Just that comment on the screen we had a second ago, that deus, homo deus. Deus in Latin actually means God.
The divine.
The divine. So that homo deus, which is the name for the transhumanist subspecies that's come in, means divine.
Who's divine?
Divine human, yeah.
Whose divine is it?
Yeah, but...
I remember last year, we had a private conversation. You said, do you think the Earth's round or flat? And I said, potentially it's both.
Yeah. I do remember.
There's two rendered realities. So the potential for that is there. That it could be flat and it could be a sphere. It could actually be anything you want it to be.
Going into like multiple timelines running at
well,
the
we're
same
going
time?
into the multiverse theory that basically everyone is living in their own separate, slightly parallel reality that they're perceiving themselves. And that's how two people can look at the same thing and actually describe it quite differently because of their preconceptions, because of their internal rendering, their internal editing because everyone's on different timelines. Because you can look at our views about what's going on compared to people that don't agree with us. They are literally living in a different reality.
Polar opposites.
Yeah. So
I studied around about maybe 15 years ago onwards. A subject called psionics, which is I won't go into it too much because it's a bit of a deviation. Although it's part of it. It basically means the psyche combined with electronics.
Wow.
So
Psionics.
it's psychological. Yeah, psionics. Yeah. Now it's been hijacked. So if you was to Google, like a lot of things, if you was to Google the word psionics, you're going to get a load of anime or fantasy type stuff.
Yeah, they love this shit, don't they? I find that with a couple of subjects you try to research, you end up getting a load of sort of like
cartoons,
Lovecraft, sort of mythological stuff, or Japanese anime
games, and
So the premise is that potentially we're projectors, and we render a particular reality, whichever you've been programmed with, or whichever narrative that you like, or has been put on you, or inserted into you. So it's majority rule. So this is why you have a thing called like the general consensus. So whichever the majority of the projection is what the reality ends up being for everybody, for the most part. Now that's taking it to the grand scale of a collective, like as a nation or a population. If you take it down to the individual, now I'll throw this out there, and people can make comments and give their opinion. So if you've ever sort of put your keys down on the table and then you go away and you come back and they're not there, and you search everywhere and then you look again and they're there.
Yeah, mate, I did that today. I actually did that today, yeah.
Right. So what that means is when it's only you that's projected that the keys have been put on the table, it means that reality is very fragile. So there is flexibility in that reality. It can flex and it can schism.
Maybe it's not totally solid. Maybe it's liquid.
Yeah. So let's do another example. If there's 10 people in a room and they all see you put your car keys down on the table, then that cements that reality because it's times 10.
Whoa.
Now, if you multiply that by 100, then 1,000,000, so on and so forth, then the reality that is projected as a general consensus becomes firmer. It's more solid.
You just explain how the media works, mate. You just explain how mass media works.
Yeah.
Projecting their reality into our subconscious, so then we work as post projectors, projecting that reality out for them, building their reality for them. Like that. Remember that meme I keep talking about that I shared? They are magicians. Remember that meme?
Yeah, they can't create.
I
They
keep
need
coming
us
back
to
to that.
create.
I keep coming back to that. They cannot create.
In the Guardians, you said a few weeks ago back, you said they need us for something. Otherwise, they would have just killed us already. They need us.
Right, yeah. So here's an example, right? If you take the pyramids, now there's a debate as to how they were constructed, but let's just say it was by humans, yeah? How would they have done it? They would have had to have a lot of slaves, yeah? To physically to chisel,
a pile of
move.
slaves, massive pile.
Yeah, okay. So that was the creation of a physical 3D phenomena known as the pyramids. Now, if they wanted to create a synthetic universe or a digital reality, they would need something else to produce the projection or to do the work, to be the slaves. So they would use humanity's ability to imagine. Because if you notice, in all of these agendas at the moment, they're using the word we're going to imagine in this reality.
Wait a minute. So you're suggesting that they could actually harness our ability to project and render the reality in the universe around us, hijack it to create the synthetic universe. We are building it for them. Right. I want you to hold that thought, because in a minute, or when I get back to the slides, I'm going to start talking about something called IoT, the Internet of Things.
Yeah.
All right. And the Internet of Things, I think, actually links in very closely with exactly what you're talking about here. Connecting lots of these individual wandering projectors of reality together in a smart grid, into a hive mind, into a network.
They're trying to hijack our consciousness.
Yeah, and so as an example, when I use the term off-grid, it doesn't necessarily mean that I live in a forest.
Metaphysically off-grid, yeah?
What I'm talking about is living off-grid psychologically, emotionally. It's not just about the physical aspects of living off-grid. It's about the mental ability to live off-grid, where you're self-sufficient and you're not a slave of part of the imagining in or the fake creation of the synthetic universe.
Wow. And look at the comment on the screen as you talk about imagining from Rise and Shine. Build an image, imagine a reality. Build your own image of reality. We need to create the world that we want to see. We need to rise above the fear programming, the MK Ultra, the trauma, all of that is being projected, that they want us to project outwards. Well, you've already hijacked it. Everyone that's watching has already hijacked it. If you're sitting at our table, you've already they've tried to hijack you, but you've hijacked
You're out.
it. You're out. You're out.
You've opted out.
You're metaphysically off grid. Right. You two stood at the decks. Does that mean we're going to have a break in a minute? All right. Okay. No, we're on the roll.
174 people.
Well, yeah, 180 people tuned in. So let's just have a little recap. What is tonight all about? This is Rise Above. I'm Double LMC. That's Andy PG. We have Magix and Omar Beats in the corner, who are going to be playing some music in a little while. Inner Guardians, one of our team members, is on the Skype chat, and we're talking about all aspects of transhumanism. We're talking about this guy here, Lord Schwab. We're talking about the WEF. Soon we're going to be talking about Ray Kurzweil. We're going to be talking about the singularity.
So have we covered, are you happy we've covered the religious aspect of this now?
I think we have.
Just Inner Guardians, while I've got you on the phone, Lance, can you hit up one of my links that I got from our friend Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum? I'm not sure on the next one, mate. Yeah, this one here. So this I found, this is directly from our friends at the World Economic Forum. So this, I don't know if you can see the screen here, Inner Guardians.
There's a bit of a delay.
It'll be coming in about 10 seconds.
Basically, the headline is humanity just a phase in a robotic evolution? So basically what they're saying is the article reads that, flesh and bones and, is just a step towards just an interim.
This is from 2015.
Yeah.
This is 6 years old now.
Yeah. But, they've been talking about this for a long time, like we've already covered.
Well, since the 90s, but it's already been in action for the last, 7 or 8 years. Are we just a phase in a robotic evolution? Are we a biological stepping stone to the ultimate future of
sentient robots?
Trans-immortality.
This talks about sentient robots.
Well, let me say this, that you often hear me talk about biotech. Now, I have to be careful with using that because a lot of people get that mixed up with transhumanism. What I'm talking about is the natural biotech. Now, everything that they're trying to create with technology, we already have. Now, I always suggest to my students to take your mobile phone, whether it's iPhone or Android, whatever, and go through it, look at it. What does it do? There's nothing in that phone that you can't actually do.
Yeah.
Naturally. So what they've done is they've replicated it. And that's a very important word. There's two words, mimicking and replicating. That's what they're trying to do. So they're replicating us. They're actually, they're copying us to create the technology, because we're way more advanced. Now, if you look at the speed of processing, we're actually very, very quick. Our thoughts, our emotions. In fact, our emotions are quicker than our thinking.
Yeah.
And we really underestimate our capabilities because it's been suppressed and genetically modified and dumbed down. Now, as technology gets greater, you would have thought that humans would get smarter. But what are you seeing? You're seeing almost the opposite. Laziness, yeah. Now, I'm sure everybody can attest to this. So, sat navs. So when you're going to go somewhere, you use a sat nav. Years ago, I mean, I'm a lot older than probably most of the viewers. We never had sat navs. At best, you'd have a map. But what we would tend to do, we would actually use our natural ability to coordinate, to sense the direction. Now, I would say that's been pretty much lost because of satellite navigation.
Tom
so
took
I
it
could
away.
I could almost sense the direction that I need to be going in. And I always remember, I used to get in a bit of trouble about this. When I did my basic training in the military, we did navigation, and I always used to question the grid reference points because there ends up being about 3 grids. And in the end, when the instructors were pressured enough, they would just say, well, just use your intuition, just use your natural ability to kind of fudge the rest of the bit of how to get from A to Z or A to B.
Because the maps are actually inaccurate.
Yeah, the science behind it is completely flawed. And you end up using your own senses anyway. I mean, for anybody that's done any form of navigation, even the sat-nav, you end up having to use your own intelligence a lot of the time, or your own observations. So, for instance, if you see a church on the left or a particular building on the right, and you can remember that, that will often be the final thing. The sat-nav itself often fails.
Especially in cities. It's absolutely useless most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I think we're going to go for a break. Inner Guardians, you might as well stay on the line because that's a great connection, and it's amazing to have you speaking uninterrupted on these subjects. We haven't even got into the slides yet. We've got 6G, 7G to talk about, digital twins, the singularity, nanotech, loads of stuff.
This is the foreplay.
Yeah. We just have a little bit of foreplay before the full intercourse that's coming.
We've been asked to talk about the Morgellons disease as well.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we've been asked to talk about the those wormy things that have been seen in the masks. You've seen those, Lee?
Schwab tech.
Yeah. I've found an article. I might have found what they are. So we're going to hand it over to Beats and Magix for 10-15 minutes. 2 hours 50 minutes. Yeah. We'll come back about 3:05. Okay, let's roll. 3:05. 5 past 3 hours. 3 hours 5 minutes. That's what I meant. Yeah, big up Nick Longworth. It's been a little while since I've done drum and bass. I gave it up about 5 years ago. All of those tunes there were original Magix production. That's how we do here on Rise Above.
To me as you come.
Love these jingles. Right, Inner Guardians, welcome back. Did you enjoy the music?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
So I just thought we're on a normal phone call, but phone calls don't even cost anything anymore, do they? Do they actually charge us for these phone calls nowadays?
No, not if you got the right sort of package.
If you got the right package, got the right crypto phone. So, did you enjoy the tunes?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Nice little
Yeah,
selection there.
I'm not twerking though.
You're not twerking. No, I think twerking is quite debauched actually. So,
Yeah.
mate, we were getting in a seriously deep chat, yeah, but we haven't even really got down to business with this slideshow I've prepared about transhumanism. So, where do we live off? The World Economic Forum is talking about humanity being a phase in a robotic evolution. Okay, we start talking about a couple of other subjects like the singularity. Okay, let's see where this goes. Oh, this is your article, isn't it? This isn't even part of my slideshow.
Yeah,
This
no,
is extra. Roll up. Let's go back to PowerPoint. Where did I get to? Oh, we're on T-shirts now. That's not even the right slideshow. Hold on. Here we go. Lord Schwab. So, transhumanism is a new religion. Let's have a look here. Transhumanist assumptions. I think it's become clear that the Greta Reset and its underlying transhumanist views both rest on fundamental values and assumptions about reality. These are not necessarily self-evident. The idea that we should always transcend our human limitations, aka extrapianism, or that human beings are nothing more than a collection of biochemical algorithms for survival and procreation, are highly contested. It is therefore up to each individual to decide whether they accept this worldview and its aims, and whether they wish to support the Great Reset agenda. So again, this is from this, where did it come from? The European Academy of Religion and Society. I think I might read some more of their stuff.
Yeah, man.
Really good critique. Actually quite unbiased, I think. So, the Great Reset. Fourth Industrial Revolution. Let's throw this in the mix. The Internet of Things. This is our next subject. This is our next piece of the puzzle to cracking.
Which links up with all the Schwab tech and the nanotech.
So tonight is all about what is transhumanism. And this is a very important part of the puzzle. The Internet of Things describes a network of physical objects, aka things, that are embedded with sensors, software, and other technologies for the purpose of connecting and exchanging data with other devices and systems over the internet. Well, that sounds pretty innocuous. That sounds pretty benevolent. You connect your TV to the internet, your phone's connected to the internet, your computer's connected to the internet,
Dishwasher,
your kettle, your fridge, your watch, your trainers, your jacket, everything. Is that where it ends though in the Guardians?
No, well, not really, no, because once you've got the fusion, then you're going to have the capabilities. The architects have the capabilities to imagine and vision. Now, everybody knows that in order to create anything, it starts with a vision. It starts with an idea, and then the imagination. And this is one of the things that I work with my students with is having the correct type of imagination, so that you start to create a more suitable reality for what you need and for others.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be quite far removed from this reality they're trying to create here, because what I'm going to move on to suggest in a moment is that this Internet of Things, or the IoT, it's not just going to be things. The futurists, the transhumanists, the horizontalists, as Inner Guardians has coined them, their plan is that not only are we going to have all these wearable devices and
wearable,
implantable, they actually plan for human beings to be nodes in the Internet of Things network. Got loads of comments, and thank you very much to Raman the Writer donating £5 of the super chat. If you like the stream, if you want to bung some money to us, that's a much easier way to do it than go and GoFundMe. Just send us a little super chat. Thank you very much. So let's take this to the next step. The technological singularity. What's this about? How does this play a part? So it says the technological singularity, or simply the singularity, is a hypothetical point in time at which technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unforeseeable changes to human civilization. According to the most popular version of the singularity hypothesis, called intelligence explosion, an upgradable intelligent agent will eventually enter a runaway reaction of self-improvement cycles.
Hold up. An intelligent agent.
Hey, each one of these phrases here is pull-upable as the last one.
What are you saying about that phrase? An intelligent agent there in the Guardians?
Well, what they're trying to... I mean, I'd have to go back to kind of some type of first principles. The objective of what this all is about is slavery, in essence. And for those, I'll briefly explain it, but you've got the trivium, which is internal. The quadrivium is the external terrain or landscape, okay? And transcendence comes when you merge or fuse the two. Now, what they're trying to do, they're trying to replace our ability to do that with an artificial version, which means that once they've created that, then they have complete control. Like I said earlier, imagine, well, we've all witnessed how they can censor the digital platforms. So if you then insert that into your mind or your thinking as the platform, then they're going to have the ability to block what you think. So you would have it'd be impossible to show dissent because that wouldn't even be a thought that could enter your mind. I don't know if the people in the chat and yourselves have seen the Black Mirror episodes where they have where it censors what you see.
Yeah, damn
or
right.
it can alter what you see. So this is, I mean, just watch Black Mirror. That kind of pretty much surmises what we're heading towards with regards to. I think Black Mirror is like the stepping stones towards the singularity.
Sorry, I've just got to turn you up, Madge.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
So I was watching one of the Neuralink presentations, and they were talking about how it can be used to cure depression. So it can block out the negative thoughts. And I was sat there watching, thinking, oh, that's really good. And I thought, well, if they can block out the negative thoughts, they can block out anything essentially. So it's the same principle.
Any thought could be intercepted by the algorithm.
Anything can be blocked out.
And even before you have the thought.
Yeah. They could stop your happiness.
Well, what was Elon Musk talked about? He talks about when, he's already said that basically to make sure that AI doesn't just consume us, we have to basically be symbiotic with it. So the AI, through his neural lace, this is what he says, it will actually be a way of you interfacing with the new digital akashic records of the internet. So instead of you thinking about, I need to type in what I want to search into Google with your fingers, you would obviously just think it, and then you would access it through the neural lace. But the problem is, that would actually be indistinguishable from your own thought process. And what happens when you search the internet? How many different filters, firewalls, and algorithms are they stopping you from getting from the information you want to get at? When that's happening inside your head, and that's actually part of your thought process, and it's happening in nanoseconds, and you've got no idea, that means your thought, like, you won't even, will an original thought even be able to happen?
Crazy thought.
Yeah. This is, I think we're coming back to the synthetic universe idea that Inner Guardians is talking about.
Yeah, something else to consider is with regards to, say, the internet and information that's accessible via the internet. I'm involved with a thing called OSINT, which is open source intelligence. Now, what that means is that you access parts of the internet that isn't easily accessible to everybody. Now, it's reckoned that we only access around about 5% of the internet potential on a daily basis. And these are even people that know quite a lot about the internet. We're told that there's the internet and then you've got the dark web, which is kind of taboo. You stay away from that. But there's a thing in the middle called the deep web, which is where there's a lot more information that's contained in there, but most people will never ever be able to access it. But every single thing that is published on the internet you can't get rid of it, and it's stored in a cloud or a synthetic akashic record. So it's a complete replication of our organic reality. So in organic reality, you've got like a type of historical timeline. And I'll ask you the question, what has been the main aim of the powers that shouldn't be, or the authoritarian states? What have they been doing in history? Or if you read history, it's pretty much a story of one thing. And that's taking terrain. Invading, taking terrain.
Yeah, colonization, empires.
Yeah.
Greed.
Yeah. Now, would it be fair to say, for the realm that we know, that it's been conquered? There is no further. They can't go any further along the horizontal line in terms of conquering terrain.
I would say so. From our understanding of where the horizontal line is,
Yeah.
whether we think it's on a globe or whether we think that Antarctica is the vag port or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think let's go with that. That it's some kind of crater type, and there is a boundary of sorts, but it could be. You could get around it in one way or another. But to say that the localized terrain is pretty much being conquered as we know it. So in order to go further along the horizontal line, they can only do one thing, which is to invade the inner terrain.
The inner space. They're going inside.
Yeah, this is why I talk about the inner landscape, inner terrain.
That's why you're the inner guardians.
Yeah, and this is where the war is taking place right now. Is that it's the final breach, it's the final frontier from the outside to the inside. So it's literally the quadrivium is being invaded by a fake quadrivium.
Wow. And this is what transhumanism is actually all about, in your opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I can extend that. I mean, I don't know how much you want me to.
Mate, jump in.
Extend it all the way to double extend the length, and then extend it a little bit more.
Okay. All right. Well, this is my understanding of all of the years of research from many different systems, methods, ideas, so on and so forth. Right. So right now, what they're going to bring us to a point where the physical reality is unbearable, physically and psychologically and emotionally. Then they're going to open the doors to a magical, wonderful, synthetic version of reality.
Yep.
And they'll literally say, sign up, join the queue. But the only way they can do that is to make our lives unbearable. So if you look at everything that's going on right now with lockdowns and all the psychological operations, they're just going to keep ramping that up till it reaches a tipping point or critical mass where we'll be begging to leave this hellish realm to enter this wonderful, perfect, beautiful synthetic universe. But there's a catch. The catch is that you will. The reality that you have may be wonderful.
It's the ultimate catch, isn't it? The big catch is coming. You've got to sign away your soul.
Yeah. Now, you could. Whenever I bring these ideas forward, I always get challenged, like, "Oh, this could never happen."
Sorry, Lee, can you just go into the catch a bit more? What is the catch?
Well, if they launched it right now, you would probably get a percentage that would just say, yeah, I'm up for that, because they think it's fun, or they think it's funny, or
cool.
They're curious. But then you're going to get people that will apply critical thinking, Cartesian doubt, so on and so forth. People such as ourselves that would be very wary of it, and we would ask too many questions. Now, the only way they can get them uploaded will be to make it unbearable to stay in this reality. And they've pretty much done that. Now, if you look at, and this goes back to the off-grid stuff, you try living your life without a phone number, an email account, a bank account,
a Google or Apple account.
Yeah, what else should we throw in?
The smartphone.
It's really difficult to try and exist because they're getting to you at source. Now, even when you open or get these apps, they always want to take another step further. They want to access your microphone, they want to access your images, and then they want to access your contacts.
So it'll be access your medical records.
Yeah. So it's all going to come together where it's going to be almost unbearable, impossible to live outside of the synthetic universe. I mean, I don't want to go too far into that side of things because I think it would be more appropriate.
We can save that. We can save that for a deeper level. Because
but it's important. It's important to understand that you've got the external terrain. You've also got the internal terrain. The internal terrain is where it is the knowledge that they've not been given us. Okay, so what I've tried to do is, with the Inner Guardians, is to be able to educate people as to how the inner terrain, what it looks like, what it is, and how to use it, and how to bring it back to life. So all of these things like ESP and being able to read people's thoughts or send people messages and stuff like that, it can all be done psychically.
Wow. So we don't need any 6G or 7G, as I'll go into later, to speak to each other in our minds. The capability was already there. Now, let's go into this slide, and I don't know if you can see this on the screen yet, Lee. This is called Our Extended Sensoria, how humans will connect with the Internet of Things. This was written in...
See, this is where it starts to get scary, man.
Yeah, I found some real gems when I was digging in the last couple of days about transhumanism.
Can I just step in again? Sorry to talking so much, but I'm not trying to preach or anything like that, or I'm not trying to even convert or change people's minds. Potentially, yeah, I'm trying to influence, but for the good of humanity.
Sure.
A lot of people are very hesitant to take up the ideas of some of the things that I'm talking about. But here's an example, right? So I'm on a mobile phone, calling a live stream, and there's a 10-second delay. So already I'm experiencing some type of schism in the timeline. So that is proof positive that time is an illusion. It's also proof positive that almost time is not real, and it's not firm. It's flexible. It can be played around with. So, for instance, me speaking now in my real time, I'm watching the visuals that has a 10-second delay, and then the audience are listening and observing the two together.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I've thought about this before. Like,
and the delay is not exactly the same for every person watching.
No, people have different experiences of the stream. Some people heard that echo and some people didn't. And it's like everyone's watching over the same internet. So again, this is the proof of what you're talking about.
Yeah, so this is a very important quote. I can't for the life of me remember who the quote came from. It could have been Terence McKenna. It goes along the line of the map is not the territory, or the map is not the terrain. Okay, that's probably one of the most important quotes or sentences that you could ever understand.
Wow, Terence McKenna, what a guy! Like I could listen to hours of Terence McKenna. So the map is not the terrain. The map is not the territory.
Yeah. So what we're told, and this goes back to the when I did my basic training with navigation, that is proof positive, because the map is not the terrain, because you have to fudge it. In the end, you can't go exactly according to the map in the terrain because it's not accurate. It's actually disinfo and corrupted.
Right. So that goes back to what you were saying earlier on about when you were doing your military training, you were finding that the maps were basically out of sync and you were having to use your own intuition to get to the waypoint.
Yeah, there is no science. There is no science that can get around it. And this applies to those that have researched the flat Earth, convex Earth, crater Earth, spinning ball. What else is there? Level Earth. The maps and the forms of navigation don't make sense.
Yeah, there's no one model. There's no one model that solves the problem, is there?
No.
Vag theory comes quite close to it with crater, though. I've got to say, crater theory does solve a lot of those problems, but that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah, but you can apply the same principle as without, so within. So the inner terrain, the knowledge that we have, or the map that we're given to navigate our inner terrain, is corrupted. So it's all about the education and the erosion of false education to have any chance of having the correct form of inner standing. inner standing on the terrain that's being terraformed.
Yeah, and we're not necessarily talking about something exterior. We're talking something interior.
Yeah, and it's all, the quadrivium. The trivium. You've got the grammar or the language. You've got so as an example, I'll just throw out a few words. You've got terra firma, terror of the situation. Reality is not firm. The firmament. So let's take the word the firmament. It's all hidden in this language that we've been programmed with. It's just a case of being able to read it correctly.
Interesting concept, Lee.
Yeah, we're completely surrounded by word magic, and it's part of the trivium, the language, and being able to understand, and then you've got the confusion of tongues,
and
means
the
that
deliberate obfuscation of the language as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm back. So, Internet of Things. So I've got loads of slides, I've got to get through them. We've talked about that. The singularity. These are some of the graphs, or graphics rather, that I picked offline from those that are talking about this coming event of the singularity. Where, how should I say it? They believe we'll reach a point in time where technology will grow at such an exponential rate, it will basically just set off like a rocket and we'll just be left behind. And this is what the technological horizontalists believe we're racing towards. Whether it's 2030, 2040, 2050, we don't really know. Look at this, the countdown to the singularity. Now, obviously, there are some issues with this little graphic here, because this assumes that we have evolved along a Darwinian timeline.
For sure.
So these... Oh, we got a call. That shouldn't be linked on Bluetooth as well. Is that Martin Powell trying to call us? He's trying to get him on the chat as well. I don't even know if we can do that. Is he on... No, we're about to find out. Can he call us on Skype while we've got Master Elite on the phone? I don't think that can happen because that's not connected. Sorry, word nerd. We'll have to take turns. So yeah, let's look at this.
I'm happy to drop out if somebody wants to chime in. That's fine by me.
No. Word nerd is saying no. He was just trying it. I think he's saying he did it by accident. All right, don't worry about it. So yeah, look. So what? That's that 10 billion years ago when life evolved on Earth, counting down through a Cambrian explosion, mitocellular organisms down to a superhuman hominidia family here, which is what, 10,000 years ago? Yeah, 10,000 years ago. And we're counting down to when the computer was made, 60 years ago, the personal computer, and we're reaching this point of coming singularity. What do they think is going to happen? Is this when like Skynet takes over? Is that what they're envisaging
Wow.
that's the only way I can conceptualize it.
So what happens to humanity? What happens to flesh and bones?
Well, let's go to the next one, right? This is what National Geographic said, yeah? Look at this, right? I'm just going to do this full screen. In Accordions, what do you think about this?
Yeah, you're going to have to read it out. Cause,
Oh, right, okay. So National Geographic, they've got human intellect evolving over time. The red line represents this is machine intelligence ascending really quickly from 1950, intersecting with human intellect, and then past that, the line goes off, and it's basically transhumanism births out of this point of time in the singularity, which I guess on their graph here, again, this looks like 2030 to me. If you look here, the year 2000.
Yeah.
1950 here is the birth of the computer, basically. So
potentially it could be 2050.
2050, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 2030 was kind of an ambition.
Yeah,
like a target.
Well, I think they're sort of getting into gear for it. They're getting overly ambitious. They're certainly wanting to get everything in place. I think that's what the Great Reset is about. It's getting everyone in line.
Just a little shift.
Everyone with their prerequisites for this coming event of the singularity, because they believe, in my opinion, the horizontalists believe that when the singularity comes, you better be ready to worship the AI God. I didn't get it ready for this stream, but I've already found a church that is ready to worship the coming AI God.
Come on.
And they've put all of this stuff online because they know that when the singularity comes and the AI God it becomes sentient, the first thing it will do is scan everything that's online. It will totally consume the digital synthetic akashic records, and it will know who is ready to be subservient. So all these people are already just like uber cucking themselves to the coming AI God, saying, we will be your loyal servants. We know that you are going to be the master of the universe, and they've all put it online. Ready for when it happens.
Add a reminder?
Absolutely.
Right. So it's pretty fair to say that this is actually an experiment. So they don't even know exactly how it's going to pan out.
I think that's a very fair comment.
Can I just interject? Bearing in mind, we all know what these people's minds were like. These are literally mentally ill individuals pushing this.
Gosh.
These are, thank you, lads.
They are.
These are psychopaths. Klaus Schwab is...
Lord Schwab says.
These people are physically, mentally ill. Their brains are...
They're transgenerationally, psychologically
They are mentally
tortured
ill.
people.
Yeah.
People.
Let's put a personal protection narrative to this. So if you're walking home down the street and a car pulls up and Klaus Schwab sticks his head out the window and he's got a couple of mates in the back with masks on and says, hey, jump in, I want to take you somewhere, take you for a ride. You've got a choice. You make that decision. I know what decision I would make.
I'm not getting in the back with Schwab. No way. I can't imagine anyone scarier. It's like if you conceptualize,
you couldn't just let him get away. You'd have to do something.
What if you said to me right now, come and get in the car with me? I'd be like,
You've got to do something, mate. You can't let the opportunity go. You got to do something.
What, you think I'm not going to
go
get
with it?
murdered?
Drag him out, maybe.
Yeah, but he's got his henchmen with him.
Well, you know, sacrifice yourself.
Hey, if I had the whole team with
He
me,
needs
if I had
to
you
go.
guys, if I had it in the Guardians there especially, if I had the whole team with me, we take him on. Me single-handedly against Lord Schwab's henchmen, I'm not so sure.
In the Guardians, I got a question for you. I put this to Mark Devlin last week. So all of these people that are driving this, your Klaus Schwab, your Bill Gates, all of these people, you know, Biden and, you know, Lord Patehead, Boris Johnson, all of them. All of these people,
Sausage fingers.
You know, your Chris Whitties and your Matt Hancocks, they're, even if they do take the fall for all this, you know, and their plan doesn't succeed and they all go to jail or whatever, like, does that actually really matter? Because all the people that are actually driving this, these dark occultists, they're still going to be there in the background. And they'll just wait and they'll just pull something else, put another stunt. And it will be, if they can't do it in their generation, it will be their children that do it, and so on and so on. So does it actually matter that anything happens to these physical beings that we're seeing driving this now?
No, because it's going to. This reality is on the horizontal line. This is why I always talk about the escape velocity to get onto the y-axis to transcend. It's all about escaping. We're in a prison essentially, and we need to really, excuse me, understand the fact and the terror of the situation that we're slaves in. Excuse me, in a slave prison, and we're working for the elite, whether we like it or not. The objective for us is to develop a soul and develop a particular type of energy that will give us escape velocity, so that we can actually get into a different realm, different reality.
Escape velocity. Love it. So this looks like escape velocity for the horizontalists. This is how they believe they're going to transcend, I believe.
Yeah, that's why they use the word trans. You know, there's the word transcendental.
Yeah, so it's about transcending. I didn't even start with the slide. What is transhumanism? I should have started with that. It's about transcending your humanity.
Yeah.
Whether that's on a DNA genetic level, whether it's on an implant level.
See, the World Economic Forum, they state what transhumanism is. They say it's the speeding up of natural evolution.
Yeah, but the World Economic Forum don't get to dictate to me what
No, of course, but
transhumanism
that's
is.
what they're dictating is.
Lord Schwab didn't invent transhumanism. It's not his idea.
No, of course not. No.
It was around for decades before he got his hand on it.
What you have to remember is that they use the narrative that it's for your good, it's for the goodness of the earth, it's for the goodness of humanity. So if we go back to the analogy of Klaus Schwab and a couple of guys, on a couple of gimps in the back of the vehicle with their face covered up, he pulls over and says, "Jump in, I'll take you for a ride. It's for your good. You know, we'll be gentle with you, we'll be nice to you, or whatever. We'll help you." You know, there's trust, and like I said, I wouldn't recommend jumping in the car and going their way. It's about going your way.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to go and live in their smart cities. I don't want to be part of their digital utopia. I don't want to live in New Schwabia.
I'm not going to live in.
I'm not going to live there. We're already metaphysically off grid.
Yeah.
Believe me. So let me see what else these horizontalists have planned for us. This is where it starts to get weird. So these are the real world applications of what they call a digital twin. This is being used right now in engineering, in logistics, in defense, in basically all high-tech levels of machine, robotic, and industrial development. This is being used. Because when you build something for the first time, in case anyone doesn't know, you pour massive amounts of money into the prototype. You billions, millions into this prototype, and you build one. And if it fails,
because shit goes wrong.
Yeah, because when you build something for the first time, you can't machine the machines to make it on a grand scale. It's all about economies of scale. So what you do is you create a digital twin. If it's a high-tech machine part or a submarine, you create it digitally, and then you run the tests on it in a digital, synthesized, a synthetic environment inside a synthetic universe. Okay. So these are the real-world applications of what is called a digital twin right here, right now, in the year. Oh, sorry, this is back from 2010.
Scary.
Okay, so keep this in mind. This is what a digital twin technology is about, and it's been around for over a decade. Here we go. Digital twins in logistics. This is high-tech machine parts, oil rigs, robotic arms to build cars, jet engines. Here we go to the Center for the high performance systems. Digital twin factories. Real-time industrial avatars. Okay, now, I just want to find my link up here. Where's my sticky notes? Because I came across something really interesting. Sticky notes, meta-humans. I'm just going to get this. We do some real-time Jamie in here. Soon we'll employ a full-time Jamie. Let me just copy that. I went to real-time engines. Unreal engines. Let's see what they've got. Okay, can everyone see the screen? Early access to the meta-human creator is now available.
Wow.
Ready? This is April 14th, 2021. This has just been released by Unreal Engines. And everyone that knows Unreal Engines, they make really sick computer games. These are obviously digital people. They're not real. So we'll just go down a little bit. And we'll find this video. And I'll see if I can show it just like 30 seconds at a time.
A lot of these ideas have been shown to us already in science fiction movies.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're finding now are like the actual real-time retail consumer level applications of this stuff that has been slipped in, like you say, under the surface, under the guise of entertainment for a very long time.
You create the narrative.
I am metahuman.
It's already pretty scary, isn't it? That's the first 10 seconds.
Initial spark for the metahuman idea was just the fascination with digital characters in CG. To us, digital humans are something magical even, and infinitely complicated. MetaHuman Creator is a cloud stream application that lets...
I thought he was going to say Klaus Schwab application. I just hear Klaus Schwab in it. Cloud Schwab.
Anybody create high-fidelity digital characters. What used to take months now takes minutes, and people don't even have to think about all the technical steps that they normally would need to take.
We're going after 3 really hard problems, and we're not compromising on any of those.
outright quality that you'd expect in a AAA
game for okay, so let's just have a little reload there because we can't play for more than 30 seconds.
That dude looks well strange.
Does this guy look a bit Schwabian?
Look at that.
Right, let's zoom in.
His eyes are about to fall out his head.
The rendering on his face doesn't look quite right.
No, it does not.
Master Lee, do you reckon this guy's been rendered wrong?
Yeah, there's been
bit of after effects.
This dude is not right, I'm telling you.
Well, let's face it, right? If they're selling this, there's a consumer level. You can make your own metahuman for like $24.99 a month. You can rent them or whatever it is, because this is consumer level. What is it to say that the people that produce this whole production, they've got the high-end level metahuman technology? Yeah, why use a real guy? You'd have to pay a guy like this $200,000 a year. Just use a metahuman.
Yeah.
Do it digitally. Can you see where we're going with this? Just do it. Use a digital twin of someone that doesn't even exist. Yeah,
and we're not compromising on any of those. Outright quality that you'd expect in a AAA game for a digital human. Making sure that anyone can use this tool, that anyone can create a character in minutes or hours that used to take weeks and months. And all of that has to work at that fidelity with rigged and ready to animate in-engine in real time.
This topic previously reserved only for teams with large budgets and with large amount of time, now is accessible to everybody and even to people outside of the industry.
It's like really a very robust.
And again, straight up, and again, you can tell.
This guy
We've been through this before.
Right? Do you remember when we had?
Do you
remember when we had human vibration on? Yeah, and she was showing us those humans that were made from that GAD technology.
Yeah.
And she said, if you study this long enough, you can see it by looking into their eyes. You'll be able to see that like their eyes look like they're always looking past something. They never really have a proper point of perception. If you apply that to these people, I don't know. Maybe we're looking into this too much. Maybe we're stupid conspiracy theorists, but I don't think these people look real.
Very simple to use system, and it's really a joy when you just sit there in front of the tool and you just focus
Alexander Popov. He's a meta-human.
Sorry, that dude is not real. He does not exist. I'm telling you now.
Anyway, before I get a copyright strike from the meta-human like cyber complex and their drone bots come striking down on the Rise Above studio, I think you get the idea. Yeah. So in the Guardians, what you're suggesting is that maybe this meta-human technology might have been at play for longer than we think.
Yeah, well, if you just look at the media, I can't remember where I read it or heard it, but that by 2021, nothing would be real in terms of the news.
Yeah, I've heard you mention this a few times, mate.
Yeah, anything that was meant to be factual or real will actually be not factual or fiction, and it will be unreal. And I think sometimes when I see clips, whether it's some of the presidents, you got to wonder, is it actually them? Because with the advance of CGI and such like, it's you can create anybody and make it look real to the point that you can't tell the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's that old rule, whatever we see is the most cutting edge is the lowest 5% of the actual capability of the dark projects.
So do you remember what I shared on our WhatsApp group earlier was Matt Hancock getting his injection? Yeah, so do you know what he said afterwards when they asked how was it? The reporter asked how was it? And he said, well, it's just like the Queen said on a video. It's like you wouldn't even know you've got it or something like that. He referenced the Queen. But he referenced the Queen, and that we all know that wasn't the Queen.
That was a blatant deep fake.
Exactly.
That was the deepest, fakest deep fake ever. Absolute garbage. So, digital twins. Let me see what I've got next. This is where we get into 6G. Because the digital twins now, they can operate on regular internet capacity. 5G is not ready for proper digital twins. The idea is that when 6G comes, which could be normally we work on a 10-year cycle for a generation of telecommunication speed, but obviously it's all speeding up, and they know that we know they're holding it back for monetary reasons. Apparently 6G, the idea is that a digital twin, you'll be able to replicate yourself, your opinions, your work capacity, your creative output, and you can actually broadcast a digital twin to the other side of the world, to a conference, a speech, a video call, a workspace. This is what they're talking about.
Like holographic or?
Yeah. Either holographic, so people can physically see it, or exist in a digital space, like a VR space.
Okay.
So, who's to say? Here's the idea that I've had, and again, we're going back to Black Mirror here. Who's to say? And they're talking about avatars, digital avatars of yourself. So, if this algorithm,
we've already got this with social media.
Yeah, this is what I think. I think we're going to the same place here. If they've been farming all of our opinions, our likes, our dislikes from social media for years, our reactions, everything, who's to say they haven't built a digital twin of all of us already? And who's to say that that digital twin isn't put in a virtual space where 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, because obviously a digital twin doesn't get to sleep, is not being bombarded with constant algorithm to extract essence? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about extracting your essence, your reactions, your opinions. Yeah. Am I along the right lines, Skinner Guardians? Because I'm sure I've read an article where they're already talking about this, where you could copy yourself online and you can actually sell it to these people that harvest data.
Sell it.
Yeah, you could sell the use of your digital twin to people that are harvesting data.
Wow.
Because they could just put it in a space 24 hours a day, pump it with these questionnaires that nobody wants to fill out, and get it to act on your behalf and harvest your essence from it on your behalf.
This is ridiculous.
It's like a surrogate, a digital surrogate for every survey, every call, every nuisance call that you get.
They've already told us that they use the term data harvesting.
Yes, yeah, that's all over the place.
Yeah, so imagine a factory farm where you harvest data from digital twins of real people.
Wow.
You seen Westworld?
No.
Oh, Westworld's incredible. I'm sure some of our viewers have seen Westworld, where they have a whole theme park that the elite pay to go there. And it's like the Wild West, and you can act as a cowboy and you can kill these totally human-like robots. But they can't kill you, and you've all got guns. So you can act like a cowboy, you can, sleep with prostitutes, you can shoot people, you can do whatever you want. But what it turns out is the whole theme park is actually a data harvesting farm. And they're harvesting the data of the humans because they can see all the humans acting in real time as they're having sex, murdering, raping, doing whatever they do.
Wow.
And after years, it turns out it's a huge data harvesting farm for artificial intelligence. Sorry, I've just done the massive Westworld spoiler, ruined the whole season. Sorry, yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's what it's about. It's sick. And tell you what, if I told you that, it wouldn't ruin it. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I cried at the end because I had an epiphany. It made me have a metaphysical epiphany watching a TV show.
About what's going on now.
Yeah.
A step towards.
Yeah, this was two years ago. It just put into place a lot of things.
I found the most interesting part for me in that, I haven't watched all of it, but from the parts that I did see, is that they scanned or interrogated the NPCs, and they started reporting back that they were starting to have dreams, feelings, emotions, so on and so forth. So it was almost like that they were becoming human, and the humans were becoming
NPCs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Flipped it.
Mate, you got to watch it. Like Rise and Shine said, Westworld is epic. The first season in itself, second season's right. First season in its own thing. It's just its own thing.
Right.
It's got the Sumerian tablets in it. It's got Enki and Enlil. It's got the whole duality. It's got everything in it.
This will give confirmation to the theory of so you got the horizontal line, but the horizontal line acts as like a polar pendulum. So it goes, it doesn't go on forever. It goes forwards and back. So kind of like history repeats itself. So you've actually got technology coming back at us from one end of the spectrum. So it's actually coming back at us, and I'm guessing they're predicting that the singularity will be when the technology and humanity collides along the timeline.
Yeah, that's their idea of what the singularity is.
Yeah, the fusion. Or collision. It could be a collision.
Yeah, no. Some people asked us to talk about on the show, whether it's transhumanism or not, I'm not sure, the story of these things in the masks. And the one thing I didn't prepare for the show was a video of it. Has anyone in the comment section not seen the video of when people have put masks under an electronic microscope?
I'll get one up.
Yeah, can you Jamie it? because someone asked us to talk about it, and I think I might have actually proper Columbo'd what it is. So, yeah, masks, the surgical types. Apparently, the word on the street is no. Don't type that in because you're gonna throw it off, aren't you? If you type that in, he's put a bias search in. Yeah, go on, find that. So the word on the street is when you put one of these masks under a microscope, that these weird fibres can be observed. And we found a video, not difficult. Jamie,
Es izvilku ārā tādu diezgan lielu gabalu, apmēram 5 mm. Un arī viegli uzpūš dvašu, un viņš sāk šitā te nedabiski locīties. Neviena auduma šķiedra vai plasmas šķiedra tā nereaģē.
So I think we can get rid of the Hebrew Israelites speaking there, whatever language that dude was speaking. It sounded Yiddish. These fibres have been observed coming from a mask. They can expand. They can react to stimuli.
They react to like heat and moisture and
but they react to physical stimuli. I've seen someone poke one with a little prod, and it actually reached out and it sort of like tried to react against the prod. This isn't the best video. So someone asked.
I'll get another one.
Get another one. Someone asked, "What are these?" Now, everyone's heard of Morgellons. Is it Morgellians or Morgellons? Morgellons. They say that it's actually a build-up in the body of toxins, maybe nanoparticles. Is that a different video? How do you do that to the screen, Andy PG? Get a new one, drag it over. So what are these? What are they nanotech? Is this Schwab tech? Inner Guardians, have you seen these little wormy fibres in the masks?
I've not seen them in the mask because I won't go anywhere near the mask if I can help it.
Have you seen the videos of people?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I haven't personally put a mask under a microscope, but I've seen enough videos of people that are literally getting a mask and getting a microscope and putting a camera to the microscope. They can't all be fake videos. What are your thoughts of what these could possibly be if they are genuine?
Right. Okay. So probably it's a long time ago. I think maybe 25 years ago, I had a very interesting conversation with somebody, and I was talking to him about aliens, and you know, like, are they real or is there such a thing as aliens? And he turned around and said to me, he said, "Well, this is what cancer, this is what viruses are. They're foreign bodies. They're like physical, not necessarily organic. They're probably synthetic entities on a micro scale or level. So this is probably the manifestation of the stuff that they've been playing around with regards to synthetic substances.
Synthetic substances. Okay, we've got a few more different videos on. Just drag that whole screen across, Andy. There's loads of videos on there. Pardon me, that side is making me well gassy. Right, so synthetic fibres or something more. You've got to drag it over to this screen. This one, Andy PG. This one right here, Michael. Yeah, that's it. Right, share the screen.
Michael.
Share the screen, please. Here we go. So,
you find one last. See if we can find. There's like
mask worms. Look at this. YouTube privacy warning. Watch on YouTube. So apparently this is someone that is looking under a microscope at a mask.
I mean, I would suggest that this is one of many creations of synthetic creatures that are designed to penetrate the body.
So yeah, another thing that looks exactly the same. Some like long synthetic tapeworm like thing inside masks. These ones don't appear to be animated. Other videos showed me clearly.
I think these are just still images of it.
Oh, these are still images. Okay, so what could these possibly be? Oh, here's another bit. We're going to see them moving. I've seen them where they're clearly moving.
Yeah, mate. I've seen them like reaching for stuff. They're white as well.
Right. So, anyway, I'm not going to waste any time trying to find a video that we might not be able to find. No. However, what I did come across was this. This is quite recent. This is from April 21st. Everything within the last week, 10 days. Shape-shifting liquid metal could revolutionise robotics. Now, I'm not saying that there's a definitely metal. There could be some type of alloy. Again, what is presented to us in the mainstream, we can always assume it is only 5% of what is available. So look at this.
These like another type of medium. So, for instance, what we're told is reality is fake, and what we're told is fake is actually reality. So we'd probably get more information, correct information and data about this subject by watching science fiction movies.
Yeah, mate, I wouldn't even disagree with that. And obviously, detractors of this station would have a good old chuckle at what you just said there in The Guardians. But I think that's as valid a comment as any, because as time is going by, objective reality is really showing us that everything that was literally considered a ludicrous conspiracy theory only 6 months ago, including a microchip under your skin for COVID-19, which has been announced by the Pentagon, RT, and various other mainstream sources, as we reported last week. Everything is on the table now. So let's look at what this article says from Innovation, this magazine, April 21st, 2021. Shape-shifting metals that likely bring to mind images from Terminator 2 or even Avatar: The Last Airbender. But this futuristic sounding premise is a lot more fact than fiction. Floating bots. In early 2020, a team of researchers at Tsinghua University in China created a liquid metal material so light it will float on water. The researchers believe it could be used to construct lightweight exoskeletons and shape-shifting robots, as per seen in the New Scientist report. It's floating on water, microscopic robots. Shape-shifting microscopic robots.
Very Terminator 2.
Very Terminator 2. Is that like really out of the question? That what we could be looking at with those things is some sort of technology like that?
No, I would say it's very probable. Now, probably some of the audience are going to be a bit scared at the moment with this information. So I'd like to just throw in a little bit of a solution. I recommend for everybody to sweat as much as you can, and to practice breathing. Not any crazy breathing, but just make sure you get plenty of fresh air.
And why sweating? Breathing's obvious, but why sweating?
Well, it's fundamental to clearing toxins. Now, I would probably say that the lockdown was a technique being used to stop people from sweating. I know that's a bit of a reach, but think about it.
Well, if you feel really skanky, if you've got a hangover or a come down, or you're feeling really intoxicated, it's the worst thing you want. It's not the thing you want to do. But going for a run or having a session on the pads or whatever you do, doing some press ups, that's the best way to get the toxins out each and every time. Goes without saying.
Yeah, whatever it takes, just get sweating. It doesn't matter how. Just try and sweat as much as you can, as long as you're replenishing yourself.
That's why I got those goddamn roller skates in the Guardians. When I get on those roller skates, I sweat hard. Need to get out this weekend. So, look at this that I found from NBC or ABC News. Does the future hold avatar-like bodies for us? Dreams of immortality, inspired by the fantastical tales of Greek gods. I cut that bit. Oh no, we've got the whole thing. Of Greek historian Herodotus and Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon. Juan Ponce de Leon, what a name. Legendary search for the fountain of youth. Nowadays, visionaries push their technology to transplant human brains into new bodies and download human consciousness into hologram-like avatars. Again, it's the synthetic universe. It's about cutting us off from our natural cycle within our own biotech. The more and more that I read, because I've done my research on this stuff, and I just try to pick a few little cherries from the tree of these transhumanists to show you these articles. But this is what they're dreaming about. They're dreaming about transcending the human body. But is this transcendence, or is it, what would be the horizontal word for transcendence?
There isn't one.
It's a horizon.
Horizon.
It's a horizon. Yeah, they want a horizon in an everlasting digital body.
What about the word horror?
Good bit of green wordery there. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they just want a horror. They just want a horror across a lateral straight line. So, okay, here it goes. The latest science and schemes for achieving long life and the singularity moment of smarter than human intelligence came together at the Singularity Summit, held here, October 15th to 16th. Some researchers explored cutting-edge, serious work about regenerating human body parts and defining the boundaries of consciousness in brain studies. So, yeah, the existence of avatars. This is coming from the mainstream media. When's this from? This is recent. No, it's not recent. This is 2011. So these articles which I've picked out for you have started, when's the earliest we've had the reference? 2010, going right up to, you know, within a couple of weeks, these articles have been written. What would be the advantage of having an avatar-like body? This is like Surrogates, isn't it? It's the movie Surrogates you've seen with Bruce Willis.
Yeah, for sure.
It's amazing. That's a good film, that is. They're very good. That is basically the avatar body. Would you ever be puppeted in a Guardians? Would you? That's what they're saying. The fat guy that is in the little control room. He's like the one guy that doesn't have like a surrogate. He's like, they'll never puppet me. I thought I'm just have my natural body, but he's like really greasy and fat. I wouldn't. I don't think I could like lie in a bed all day and just like drive a surrogate round. No, that's not how it goes down. What else did I find about transhumanism? Here's a good one.
Well, the point you just made there. This is where you've got the being aimed. This is a very important subject for the Gnostics. It's about being aimed. Without aim, without aim, you're just going to follow or be taken in the back of Schwab's car to an unknown destination.
I love this metaphor, in the back of Schwab's limo to an unknown destination somewhere in New Schwabia, where all of your technocratic utopian dreams will be fulfilled by various different body implants and so. Oh god.
Yeah, so it's about being aimed, and this is this is the essence. So it's all about choice and maintaining the ability to have choice. If you jump in the back of Schwab's car to an unknown destination, you're going to end up with the inability to make choices.
Yeah, because you're basically going to have just sort of sequestered your choice-making ability, your application of the trivium. That's all going to be outsourced, isn't it? If these guys achieve 10, 15, 20% of what they want to achieve in just some of the few articles we've looked at tonight, you've basically just ideologically, mentally, cognitively cucked yourself to the Coviet Union, to the Greater Reset, to the Fourth Industrial Revolution. They'll be deciding everything about your life going forward, everything about your decisions. Yeah,
I think ultimately, if you end up in that unfortunate situation, or should I say, in our natural situation, we have the ability to die. Now, we've been told that death is such a bad thing, when in actual fact it could be, like I've mentioned, or I tried to mention the other week with the echo, that imagine the worst day job where you're just tormented and under psychological attack all day, how you feel and what it's like to be there. And then when you go home, have a shower, listen to some nice music, jump into bed and relax. There's two different worlds. At the moment, we're still in the day job. We don't even know that there's an exit door from the day job. But potentially, life after death could actually be something much, much nicer than this.
Oh yeah, for real. I only know that because I've died a couple of times through using shamanic technology.
Yeah.
The place after the you've left the physical realm and the ego has died, and you've said goodbye to the engine or the meat suit, and that's like a distant memory. That's a beautiful place. Sometimes the most scary thing about being there is coming back.
Yeah, I often liken this, what we experience on a day-to-day basis. I mean, of course, we're kind of painting a bit of a gloomy show, But life isn't all bad. We do have happy times, and there's a lot of joy.
Hey, it's only going to be bad if they're successful. But we need to be real about that. It's only going to be this bad if they're completely successful and all the Schwabian plans are completed. The way things are going, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I view it slightly differently in terms of. I made a post on the Inner Guardian's Facebook page, and I said that with inner standing, there is no enemy. So for me, rather than trying to particularly fight what's going on, I'm using this denying force for transcendence. I'm transforming it and turning it into fuel for my escape velocity. So that's quite profound, and you need to be able to.
You need to unpack that.
Yeah,
and understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the escape velocity. I mean, that's the first time you and me have had our private chats, Lee. You've explained your systems to me like fire, which massively resonated with me. I've even written a lyric about it. That really hit me because it's something that I've used for ages. But this velocity thing that you've been talking about tonight, this is quite intriguing. And sort of like it rings out like the quickening. It's like the Highlander thing, getting closer to the quickening, the speeding up of time. Terence McKenna called it. I've got to get this right. He said like we're rushing towards the transcendental object at the end of time, and he called it the eschaton. That was his name for it.
The eschaton.
And you know about this, Lee?
In parts, yeah, not.
It goes together with his theory about the I Ching, which I don't. Yeah. Apart from saying his theory of the I Ching, I don't even want to talk about it because I don't understand it enough to really talk about it. I only like to talk about things I understand. I don't understand it enough to talk about it, but it's rushing towards he talks about time as not like a move forward. He talks about like a contraction from he said not pushing from somewhere behind you. You're actually being pulled from somewhere in front of you towards this quickening or this transcendental space where things come together.
The pendulum.
Yeah, the swing of the pendulum. Do you remember my post? Did you see my post the other day where I put something like to reach the equilibrium, the path of maximum polarity is just another step on the path to the equilibrium.
Yeah.
And I quoted myself, I put double LMC 2021. I came up with it. I was so pleased. I thought, fuck it. Other people quote me. I'll just start quoting myself. But yeah, I think that's what we're talking about. It's like the maximum point of polarity has to be reached before you go, and the pendulum has to swing all the way the other way. And when it's swinging very fast, it'll go really far. But do you know what?
It's done before.
Yeah, but do you know what happens when it swings to the furthest point? For a second, it stops and it slows down, and then it swings back the other way. As above, so below. As within, so without. We're going to take another short break in a minute because we've just gone past the four. Like the stream is so good tonight. I don't want to stop because we're just having the best chat. The Queefmaster Pro has exited every dusty echo from the studio. And I'll tell you what, in the Guardians, we'll actually set up for next week where you can just have a camera with no mic so we can even see you and you can just call in on the phone. And I'm going to get another lead so we can have two guests because I've got another channel here. We can do one on the lead and one on YouTube. We'll do one on the phone and one on Skype so we can have a full team chat, no echoes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be absolutely sick. Well, not next week, the week after. So we'll have another little 5-10 minute break with Magics and Over Beats. Oh, just Magics this time. Then we'll come back and we'll finish off Transhumanism and we'll say goodbye to everyone because we'll have a break next week while we upgrade the studio to the next level. All right. Okay, it's Rise Above.
I'm gonna jump off and then I'll call back in.
Yeah, you don't need to stay on the phone, mate. It just works now. Just call me back when you're ready. You literally just call me on the phone. It's so good. All right, Queefmaster Pro. Gosh.
Rise above, generate, rise above, think we speak, rise above.
Right, I faded you out, mate. Welcome back in the Guardians. So we hadn't even quite finished off with that. Another great, mate. I really enjoyed my little bust there. I even got my transhumanist lyrics out. Did you hear that, Lee?
Chair busting.
Yeah, I was thinking that you definitely got into some flow state there.
Did you notice the flow state?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
There
was a significant point where you could use radiating like a different type of frequency. I've
talked about this before with you because you talked about it with your martial arts and how you actually chose to get into martial arts so you could get to the edge of your capabilities and actually push yourself into that state. And I talked to you about me with my MCing and how like it was able to get to a stage where you could almost observe yourself in the third person. I almost got a little bit of it there when I was in the middle of one of those bars that it was just coming out and I felt my mouth going. I could feel my mouth doing it. And I was actually thinking about how cool the Queefmaster Pro was in the middle of the bar. And I wanted to press the gosh button. And I was thinking, and my mouth was doing everything. It was proper muscle memory. And that's like when the flow state comes. Like for anyone that does like sports or any like extreme sports or like any motor sports or anything like that, or any art, any sort of create.
I'm snowboarding about 60 miles an hour.
Then you'll know. You'll know about that time when you're carving the perfect line.
Yeah.
You know you're right at the edge of your capabilities. It's something you've done before, but you're doing it. What you've done before, but you're putting
autopilot.
Yeah, you're an autopilot, but
you're
also,
biotech.
but what they talk about this flow state is where you're in your autopilot because you've mastered something, but then you're actually adding that extra 5%, and you're actually putting yourself in the uncomfortable danger zone. And I was doing it a couple of times then because I sort of remember those bars. I haven't MC for a long time properly. You know, when I was doing this every week, that would have come out textbook every time, but I haven't done it like that. And I was getting in there, and my mouth could remember the shape that was coming. And I could see the pages, and then I started to think about something that's going on over here, but I was still going, and it's the flow state. It's a wicked feeling, and it actually links in with what we've been talking about tonight, because that is part of our natural relationship between what we would call here, I guess, but on our table, our essence, and its relationship with the biotech. Let's get down to business.
Yeah, the biotech.
Because you know, whether you're playing sports, whether you're playing a computer game, whether you're performing, whatever you're doing, when you're creating
what the flow state is, it's a representation of perpetual motion. So you're not burning or sending or having energy taken from you. It's where the energy meets itself and you go into the flow.
Yeah. No, it's like
This is what they're trying to deny us. They're trying to deny us this. Because and this is a very important point. You know, we need to be aware of the dangers. We need to be aware of the threats and the hazards. But also, we can't be we can't give them too much because we're kind of we're giving them energy. Same with entities or ghosts or spirits. The fear or the anxiety or the sort of nervous energy that's given off actually feeds them to manifest.
Yeah, they need of our output.
Yeah, Mark Devlin mentioned about like the return to joy. Well, yeah, and if you think about it, essence is associated with children. And children in their natural state are they're in joy. They enjoy themselves.
Yeah. And it's about the strongest essence from the children, I guess. And that's why we come back to the darker side of the SRA and everything. I'd just like to address this question on the screen. Accidental Warrior, I think you're quite new to Rise Above. Welcome to our table. Advice for budding musicians in the world that is crumbling. I would actually say, Accidental Warrior, in case you haven't noticed, what is crumbling the most is actually the corporate entertainment industry. So I would say what is happening right now actually represents a massive opportunity for every creative, artistic person, every creator inside this crater, right? What we have now at our fingertips is the greatest tool for spreading a message, for inviting people to your table, which is what we do here every Friday night. You know, back in the day, what I just did, I had to master that over 20 years of really toil in clubs, in radio stations every week, 3 or 4 nights a week, to get to a level where I could do that professionally and earn money from it. Now, that was very difficult to get into, by the way. Now, anyone with a good internet connection, a webcam, a £50 microphone, minimum, and a sound card can broadcast their art and their creation to everyone in the world. You can get people donating on the comment section. You can sell your merchandise. You can even do membership subscriptions you want. There's actually never been a better time for creators to actually get what they're creating out to people and actually bypass the corporate entities, the AR. You know, when I was young, when I was coming up in the music scene, if I wasn't doing the rave scene where I could have bookings every week, I'd have zero chance of any airplay anywhere because I had to go through corporate radio, ARs and record labels. I'd have had literally zero chance of anyone hearing anything I was doing because it was pre-internet. I had to go out to a rave every single weekend, drive up and down the country, give out CDs to get myself heard. Now, you can broadcast yourself to everyone in the whole world. So I'd actually say if you're a budding musician, now is the perfect time to make a name for yourself. Amazing time. There's X amount of new platforms, new subscription models that give all the new streaming platforms that give all of the revenue back to the artist rather than taking it. So it's a perfect time to answer that question. Sorry for that little tangent there.
Can I just add to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, what you described was very, very well. You described the transformation of the denying force and being able to use forces to accelerate and to give power to you rather than it be taken away. And this is a very
friction for
point.
benefit, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the friction. Remember, our bodies require heat, and heat is created by friction. Now, people go on about the Great Awakening. Now, if you don't factor in that we live in a realm of three forces, you can't just have the Great Awakening without there being the opposite or the counter opposite, the counterbalance. So you've got the denying force. So people wonder why I'm often quite happy, bearing in mind the situation we're in. Well, it's because I accept that there's a affirming force, a denying force, a reconciling force. And what I will do is I'll use the shit show to motivate the transformation of that into transcendence.
And this is what you've been talking about from day one, actually, is actually building your vehicle, your metaphysical vehicle to transcend, isn't it? Yeah,
it's my space rocket. I don't think it's a coincidence. Excuse me. I don't think it's a coincidence that a few weeks ago we talked about space, because they're all parts of the jigsaw. Yeah. I don't know whether you. Excuse me. I'm talking truth, so this is what happens.
Sometimes interfering with your throat, even if they can't stop your phone call.
I'll start echoing.
Internal echo.
Yeah. So, like I was saying before, you can't have the Great Awakening without friction. You need the heat from the friction to stoke the fire of the Great Awakening. Now, if you look at all traditions of awakenings, it's always associated with fire. And with regards to space, how do they say that we get to the moon or to Mars or whatever? We use a rocket, and the rocket has rocket fuel. The rocket is symbolic of a meditating person. So even if you look at the chakra system, you've got the red at the bottom, which would be the fire, the base of the rocket, to project what we are, to transcend. And what color is the crown chakra?
Is it purple?
Blue.
It's blue.
Yeah, so it goes up. So it starts with red with the fire, and transcendence is towards the blue, which is the sky. So as without, so within. And it's very important, like I said before, that the map is not the territory. The map of space that they've been telling us since the 50s. That program's been they've been installing that narrative or program since the 50s.
We know who the cartographer of this map was, don't we? We uncovered this with Human Vibration. It was Disney.
Yeah.
Disney literally were the cartographers of the map of what we call the galaxy and space and our solar system.
Yeah. So the map is not the territory. So
Very interesting.
The narrative is the map, but it's not the reality.
No.
It's superimposed, and they give us. I think it was in one of our groups. I mentioned, imagine going to space. So as soon as you imagine, you're only imagining the programs that they've told you since you was born.
Yeah, all programs.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our whole idea, a whole concept.
Those are someone else's thoughts embedded into you or us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the program that they got running. So we're in a game where we have to create our own programs, and this is what the struggle is about. It's you could say the battle. The battlefield is in our mind. Have you got that clip with Prince where he talks about the battlefield being the mind?
Is that in the WhatsApp?
Yeah, that's really good. I put it on in the Guardian's Facebook.
You put it on in the Guardian's Facebook. Oh, okay, we can Jamie that.
Yeah, it's prints from 1999, and it's predicting like artificial intelligence.
It's on the Inner Guardian's page on Facebook.
Yeah, or you could get it up on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, I don't have WhatsApp. I don't have WhatsApp on the computer, unfortunately. We can get in the Guardians on the screen share, no problem. That's easy peasy. That's Jamie 101. How far do we have to go down?
It was posted this week.
Here we go. Not too far.
Don't let the computer get on you. It's cool. It's cool to get.
Let me just pull that up. So this is Prince in 1999.
It's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you. It's cool. It's cool to use the computer. Don't let the computer use you. You all saw The Matrix. There's a war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. And the prize is the soul. So...
My lyric, let me make one thing clear. Inside the mind is the final frontier. Our demise has been engineered. So seek the truth or succumb to the fear.
Yeah.
Prince.
So Prince knew.
Prince knew. Original lyrical bad man. The artist formerly known as Prince.
Do you think that's why he got topped off?
I have no idea.
Yeah. What is the prize? It's the soul.
Yeah. Inside our mind is the final frontier. That is the greatest prize on planet Earth right now. In the Guardians, there is a little presentation, mini micro presentation that I've been waiting to show for you for weeks, but we've had this terrible echo. You'll be able to see this on your screen in a second. This is a post from someone called Arthur James Pickup on Facebook, who I respect a lot.
When you show me this made my jaw drop.
This is all about the harvesting of our essence, right? And you've been talking about the map is not the terrain, which goes into this perfectly. He's talking about ley line cities, cymatics, and the harvest, referring to a post he made on sacred geometry and everything starting from the plus, the energy of mater or matter, maternal, and pater, paternal, pattern. The Immaculate Conception, everything is energy based, and here are some of the examples of how they are sucking the life out of every city in the world. Cymatics, geometry. This is why the coordinates you see me post of certain deaths, quakes, tsunamis have such precise coordinates. You can see the energy lines here, the ley lines. They are harvesting and harnessing our energy. They thrive off emotion, fear, imbalance. They are feeding off it. They are masons. They are quarriers. They are miners. They don't just mine rocks. They mine the soul, our inner gold. They are thieves. Now, Inner Guardians, check out some of these pictures. These are aerial shots of various different geographical places around the world, man-made structures, cities, urban structures, filmed from above or shot from above. Now, you start to look at these and it's like, wow, that looks interesting. But then you start to look at what cymatics is, and if you understand what cymatics is,
this is when it made me go, whoa, hold up a sec.
Because cymatics is basically when you put small particles like sand or water or dust or whatever over a vibrational field, and depending on the frequency of the vibration, the latent vibration, the resonant vibration, these particles will change into different shapes, different geographic formations. And different vibrations, which are more harmonious, will produce nice patterns, and other ones, which are like terrible background noise, will produce horrible patterns. So, if you reverse engineer this, if you build a city in the shape of one of these manifestations of a certain resonant frequency, what are you actually doing? It's like building a tuning fork, which is built to a certain frequency, yeah? Is this resonating with you, Inner Guardians?
Yes, definitely. I'll just throw in there that I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but regarding the protests, there's now a claim that dark occultists are harvesting the energy, hence they're trying to divert the protests towards Trafalgar Square, which is already set up in sync with the ley lines and the symmetry.
Funny you should say that. James Arthur Pickup was one of the people that actually made a massive post against this. He goes, I hate to burst everyone's bubble. I hate to break everyone's heart, but everyone that went to the protest last Saturday actually took part in a dark occultist essence harvest ritual. That's what he said. And he said he lost over a dozen good Facebook friends from the Truther community about his in-depth post. Because when this guy makes a post about it, he will give you 3 or 4 pages.
He backs it up.
With the proper numerology, yeah? And a lot of people, they just laugh at it because they cannot take it. But yeah, you know, these pictures tell the story. So what is this? These are planet frequencies.
This includes any large gathering from concerts and so on and so forth, especially things like the Oscars and all the award ceremonies. They're actually rituals where they're harvesting energy.
Yep. Even football matches I've heard and concerts. If you look at the amount of essence which is being expended for whatever reason at like a concert, a football match, if that's not being harvested by someone on some energetic level, that's an awful waste for the parasite.
Some people ask me,
stadium.
Like, sorry, go on, Lee.
The stadiums are actually designed using geometry, sacred geometry, in order to harness the energy. They actually say that they're landing portals for entities.
Wow. Landing portals for actual entities, to like a sort of like a summoning chamber. Like you would draw a pentagram on the floor. The shape of a stadium is actually like a massive chamber of manifestation.
Yeah, it's like an airport.
Whoa.
When I talk about this essence harvesting to people, they some people like shrug it off to me and be like, well, how can they harvest your essence? Like how do they do that? And it's more like a ritual thing. It's a
Well, here's a good analogy. How do you harvest radioactive power? In theory, you have an isotope which is giving off radiation, and you somehow harness that using fusion, and you convert it into power. So that radiation is something which is, first of all, invisible, but on our level of frequency has a very visceral attack on living matter, right? It degrades it.
Sure.
Okay, but to something that's inanimate, it doesn't do that. It's literally, it's ineffable. You cannot touch it. You can't see it. There's no effects of it. So when we use, you know, in a very rudimentary way, when we harness nuclear energy, we're harnessing something, an invisible emitted energy from a tiny isotope, and we're harnessing the huge power of that and converting it into something visceral that we can make physical energy out of. Well, imagine that happening on a metaphysical scale from parasitic entities which are existing outside of our physical realm, just outside of our physical perception.
That we don't know are there.
Well, what it means is we're actually using solar energy. When we're in a dream state, I mean, I can't really go into too much because this would literally take 3 or 4 hours to go into to dissect. But if you look at the word soul, if you look at the word essence, the soul comes from essence. We receive like soul energy from solar energy, which is there's no coincidence that soul and soul is very similar.
Solar,
yeah, and so we need to be looking at things like photons. These are very important subjects to go into. And with regards to the radiation, when we go to sleep at night, the mechanism of sleep is actually meant to be so you can recharge your battery with solar energy. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's nighttime. Now, these are subjects that are just not in...
Wait a minute. Did you say you can recharge your battery with the solar energy at nighttime? Surely you would recharge this with solar energy during the day.
Because that's when your body is absorbing it when you're asleep. Well, obviously, you take it in when you're, but it's your body converting it. Sorry.
Okay.
I was going to make a short podcast video this week, but it was on the same subject that I wanted to speak about on the show, so I've delayed it. It's a very big subject. It's probably the single most important subject that people need to understand or understand and to know. And it's really difficult for me to communicate it. I've been deliberating all week, like how I'm going to bring it forward to sort of to the front consciousness or common consciousness. What it is, it's when we go to sleep at night, most of us don't sleep properly. Now, that's because we don't fully understand how we operate. So to keep it really simple, we are 3 brain beings. So we've got 3 brains. We've got the intellect, we've got the emotional, and we've got the physical. Okay, so in the occult circles, we will be described as three-brained bipods or beings. Now, those three brains, when they go to sleep, they're meant to be unplugged, disconnected, so that they can recharge. But because of stress, because of anxiety, because of wrong use of the brains or sensors, when we go to sleep, we still leave one or two connected. And this will explain the meaning of dreaming. Now, this is where it's really tricky, because technically, if you're dreaming, that means that you're still connected. So you're not going to get a full charge. Hence, when you wake up in the morning after a night of dreaming, you could be really tired or exhausted. So what that will indicate is, as an example, if you have a dream where...
I've been exhausted by a dream before. I've woke up absolutely knackered from a dream before. I know what you mean.
Yeah, right. So it's the equivalent of leaving your laptop on at night and wondering why it's flat in the morning. Or if you leave some programs running in the background, the battery drains quicker. So remember, all this technology is based on the human anatomy and physiology. Now, when we go to sleep, if we don't consciously unplug and break the links between the sensors, we will not receive the full solar energy radiation to charge up our batteries. And we need that energy in order to transcend. Now, what the system has designed is a mechanism so that when we go to sleep, we don't fully recharge. So during the day, when we should be doing the great work of transformation and transcendence, we just have enough energy to do our duties to the system and nothing more. And that's the great trick.
That's deep. So it's actually about learning how to truly switch off. And like what you just said there, you know, dreaming for me is very important. Like I don't dream as much as I used to, but when I have a good dream, sometimes I can wake up in absolute elation at how great it was. I can wake up pissed off because the dream has annoyed me. I can wake up upset by what happened in the dream.
Yeah.
I can be absolutely knackered by how exhausting it was.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So to add confirmation to what I'm saying, everybody must have had a dream where your psychology or your intellect is dreaming with your emotions. So you'll be dreaming of emotional things during the day. You'll be dreaming of thinking impressions that you've had during the day. They get jumbled up, and then you get in a situation where you can't run away. The reason why you can't run away is because the body is disconnected, but you've left your emotions and your mind connected. And you could jumble that around. So you could have a dream where you're running or you're flying and you're really athletic, but you've got no emotion or you can't think.
Yeah.
When it comes to dream yoga or anything transformative, when it comes to dreaming, that would be that you're consciously reconnecting or disconnecting, say, your body. So your body's asleep, but your emotions and your intellect can communicate and create dreams. Now, lucid dreaming means that the observer or the higher self can observe and create within the dream. And this is a type of education, and this is a type of gnosis and knowledge that is not given to everybody naturally. Naturally we have it.
I remember once I was able to do this. I remember once I created inside a dream, and I managed to remember it and bring it forth into real life. It's nothing impressive. It was actually a really lame joke, but it was years and years ago. And in the dream, I thought of the joke, and it's rubbish. It was like, what do you call a terrorist that takes out the trash? Osama bin Dustbin Man, right? Now that's a rubbish crap joke, but I thought I conceived that joke in a lucid dream. I had a little chuckle to myself because I used to practice lucid dreaming, you know, getting down on your hands and knees, touching the floor, and realizing you're dreaming, trying to manifest things inside the dream. I created a crap joke inside the dream. I remembered it, and I remembered it when I woke up, and I still remember it now. Now that might
Weird.
it might seem like that's like nothing, but if you think about that, you actually, like you say, you can create something in a dreamscape
and bring it to reality.
Yeah. Then you times that
conscious reality.
Then you increase the potency of that when you talk about people that are adepts and masters, people like, you know, Leonardo da Vinci and stuff like that. It's like
this brings back to the the space program. They've educated us about astronauts. Now, what they're replicating or what they're mimicking is the astral planes. So we're all astronauts because we all have the capabilities of traveling through the astral planes in our free brain bipod or free brained rocket. So remember I said the rocket launch pad is the representation of a meditating person. A bipod is a standing free brain being, which also looks like a rocket going upwards vertically into the sky. They're replicating the transcendence.
The opposite to horizontalism.
Yeah. So, well, what they're trying to do. So, for instance, they're getting us to outwardly project, outwardly visualize their interpretation of what we already should be doing ourselves. Whether it's a seated meditation, standing meditation. Meditation has also been hijacked. So I try not to use the word meditation. I usually use the word focus concentration. So being able to meditate doesn't necessarily mean that you have to attend yoga classes or Zen or anything like that. Meditation is a natural state.
So it can actually be done much more sort of like ad hoc in the moment, in a state of what activity, not just like sitting with your eyes closed. Is that what you're getting towards?
Yeah, and that's normally the initiation. That's just to get the understanding of what meditation is. I was taught after a period of doing meditation that meditation is something that you can do covertly. You can do it at a job interview. You can do it walking down the street. You can do it in a fight. It's very similar to the flow state. It's more of a mechanism, or it's actually a state. Yeah, state is a good.
That's sort of like. Is that sort of like Zen? What Zen practitioners aim to achieve in day-to-day life?
It's just a kind of focusing.
Mm.
Very hard to explain.
Very hard to explain unless you've at least tried to do it yourself. Yeah, it's that's a very deep subject. Where are we at? We're at 5
The thing
hours.
is, we all do it. We all do it naturally anyway.
It's a kind of autopilot that everyone's got within them, to a degree.
Well, it's a combination of observing, and dropping importance. So it's the relaxation and momentum, as opposed to our natural, well, not natural state. Our traumatized state is one of start, stop, start, stop. We burn up a lot of energy. We don't sleep properly. We have enough energy just to feed the horizontal line. We don't have enough energy for anything transcendental. Now, people often say to me, I really can't do this thing because I can't transcend because I just don't have it in me. Well, what they're saying is partly true, but it's only partly true because of the energy, the particular energy that is needed for this type of direction has been taken away and used to recreate or rebuild or terraform something that you don't want. And unfortunately, this is the war that we're in. This is the battlefield. It's a battlefield of the energy. We need weapons. We need to be armed. We need to have particular weapons for this particular war. Hence, the origins of the Inner Guardians.
Yeah. Welcome to the armory. Let's tool up. Inner Guardians is part of the team now. That's why you're part of the team, mate, because we need this insight. Look at this as a good example I've got on the screen of the denying force, and we talk about this a lot, me and Inner Guardians, about how we are under attack. So glad I caught this live. Let me tell you, I had to Google 1984 England using DuckDuckGo and not Google just to find this channel. What the fuck? What a joke. And it's like, what? So, because I made some videos called COVID 1984, those are the ones that got the most views. That's how they managed to find this channel. It's like, I know we are massively suppressing the channel. And do you know what? I don't even want to be one of those cliched YouTubers that starts every video with, we are trying to beat the algorithm, we're being shadow banned. I don't believe them all. But we actually are, a lot, to quite a perverse level. We've had to invest in all this in-studio equipment to get rid of this terrible echo problem. Inner Guardians is literally phoning me on this mobile phone, which I'm Bluetoothing to the Queefmaster Pro to cut out the internet. and allow you to speak this amazing insight you've got tonight. And it's been so good, mate. Honestly, how good is it to have you like uninterrupted on the show? We can proper get down to business. It's been absolutely awesome.
Yeah, well, it's a case of overcoming. I mean, look what we've had to go through to get to this. But when we get it, it has greater value.
Absolutely.
We all know this. We all know this. How it works. Like something that's hard to get, there's always a struggle, but it's always greater. The reward is always greater when there's a bit of a fight.
That's what the denying force is there for, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's what the denying force is there for. That's why we're in the dualistic 3D playground of polarity. It's to learn, it's to progress. Coviet Dissident is saying use OBS. Do you know what? OBS looks so complicated. We're just getting down to what's going on in the studio.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Do you know what? Now that we've got some in-house stuff and we can get all our team assembled, by next week I'll just get one more cable. We can have spoken word and speaking at exactly the same time. I've got another channel here. So we have overcome, we have risen above the stupid echo on StreamYard, and I will find the new platform just out of goddamn principle.
Yeah, as soon as we can get rid of StreamYard.
Yeah, but I don't want to have some massive computer running on
No,
the computer.
no.
I want a service that just takes care of things, and we'll do the hardware right here. So what we're saying, guys, it's been amazing again tonight, and we always say the stream's great, but it is. 5 hours, 30 minutes, we're at 5.5 hours. Is Omar Beats going to come back in and play us out in a little while? I think he should. Omar Beats, please head back into the studio.
Have you got that video?
Oh, yeah. We need to play... Oh, my God, we need to play Magic's video. I've got it loaded up. Right. So tonight's theme is transhumanism. Magix is one of the best creators inside the creator. Check out what he made for us.